For the first time in centuries, researchers have uncovered what's believed to be Jesus' tomb inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Chris Mitchell takes us to the heart of Jerusalem's Old City, where a major renovation is underway.
Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the most hallowed Christian shrine on earth. According to tradition, this is the very location where Jesus died and was buried.
After centuries of searching, scientists have finally uncovered evidence that confirms the location of Jesus' burial site. But what they found inside goes beyond what anyone could have imagined. Hidden within the tomb are revelations that answer mysteries that have baffled generations. Where exactly was this tomb discovered, and what eerie secrets were uncovered within its depths? Could they have found Jesus' remains? Stay tuned as we unveil the startling discoveries inside Jesus' tomb and explore how these findings could forever change our beliefs. We are Jesus' eternal aura. In today's video, you will have appropriate answers to all the questions above. Before you know what happened, subscribe to the channel, like this video. This is how people react.
It's hard to believe. If it's true, I don't know what impact this will have on the Christian community, but sometimes historical truth needs to be brought to light, even if it may confuse many people.
This news really confuses me. If what they found in Jesus' tomb is true, it could completely change the beliefs that generations have held. I don't know how to feel, curious and scared. Could these mysteries shake up the things we've always believed?
The historian Eusebius said he did it to cover the tomb where Jesus was buried.
Recently, a remarkable discovery was made at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in the heart of Jerusalem, reigniting interest in this iconic site. For centuries, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre has been a beacon of faith, drawing Christians from all over the world. These pilgrims journey to Jerusalem to stand where they believe Jesus Christ was crucified, buried, and resurrected. The church is not just a site of deep spiritual significance, but also a historical landmark, rich in both biblical and historical narrative. The origins of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre trace back to the most pivotal moment in Christian history, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. According to the New Testament, Jesus was crucified at a place called Golgotha, which is often referred to as the place of the skull. Golgotha was an ancient stone quarry located outside the city walls of Jerusalem, a location that held deep symbolic and theological meaning for early Christians. It was at this site, they believe, that the prophecy of the Messiah's suffering and death was fulfilled. About a decade after the crucifixion, a new city wall was constructed, enclosing Golgotha within the city limits of Jerusalem. This change in the city's layout is crucial in understanding why the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which marks the site of the crucifixion and burial, stands within the Old City today. The location of Jesus' death and resurrection within the walls of Jerusalem has since been a focal point of Christian devotion and pilgrimage. The story of the church's construction begins with the Roman Emperor Constantine I, who ruled during the early 4th century. Constantine is a towering figure in Christian history, known for embracing Christianity and making it the official religion of the Roman Empire. In his quest to honor the faith, Constantine ordered the demolition of a temple dedicated to Venus that stood on the site believed to be Jesus' tomb. This temple, erected by the Romans in earlier centuries, was part of an effort to suppress Christian worship at the site. However, Constantine's mother, Helena, played a pivotal role in reclaiming this sacred ground. During the demolition of the Venus temple, workers uncovered a tomb that was widely believed to be that of Jesus Christ. This discovery was momentous and affirmed the decision to build a church on this hallowed ground. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre was designed to be a grand and elaborate complex, reflecting the significance of the events it commemorated. Pilgrims who visited the Church of the Holy Sepulchre during its early years would begin their journey by ascending a staircase from Jerusalem's main thoroughfare, known as the Cardo. The church was designed to lead visitors through a series of sacred spaces, each with its own spiritual and historical significance. The first area they would enter was the narthex, a vestibule that served as a preparatory space before entering the more sacred areas of the church. From there, they would pass into the basilica, a large hall used for worship and gathering. Beyond the basilica, pilgrims would enter a sacred garden, where the rock of Golgotha was prominently displayed. This garden was a place of deep reverence, as it was believed to be the exact spot where Jesus was crucified. The path through the church led pilgrims on a journey of faith, culminating at the Holy Sepulchre itself, the tomb where Jesus was laid to rest after his crucifixion. Initially, the tomb was exposed to the open air, a simple and humble reminder of the events that had taken place there. However, as the site gained more recognition and the number of pilgrims increased, a small building was constructed over the tomb to protect it from the elements and to create a more defined space for worship. This building, known as the Edicule, became the focal point of the church, housing the most sacred relic in Christian tradition. The entire complex of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre was richly adorned, reflecting its importance in Christian worship. The church's decorations were described in great detail by Eusebius of Caesarea, a prominent historian and biographer of Constantine. Eusebius noted the splendor of the church, which was adorned with gold, mosaics, and other precious materials. The beauty of the church was also captured in early 5th century artwork found in Rome, as well as on the famous Madaba mosaic map from the 6th century, which depicts Jerusalem and its holy sites. Over the centuries, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre has been the site of numerous renovations and excavations, each revealing more about its rich history and the layers of devotion that have built up around it. In 326, just a few years after the church's construction, Constantine's mother, Saint Helena, embarked on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. During her visit, Helena is said to have discovered the true cross, the very cross upon which Jesus was crucified. This discovery added even greater significance to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and became a central part of its identity. The tale of the true cross spread rapidly throughout the Christian world, and by the early 5th century, it was widely known and venerated. The legend of Helena's discovery gave rise to the Chapel of the Invention of the Cross, a sacred space beneath the ruins of the basilica where pilgrims could venerate the relic. This chapel became an integral part of the church complex and was revered by visitors for centuries. However, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre has not been immune to the ravages of time and conflict. In 614, a Persian army invaded Jerusalem and, in a devastating blow to Christendom, razed the church to the ground. The Persians also seized the true cross, which was one of the most sacred relics in Christian tradition. The loss of the church and the true cross was a profound tragedy for Christians, but hope was not lost. In 631, the Byzantine Emperor Heraclius managed to negotiate the return of the true cross to Jerusalem. This event was celebrated with great joy and marked a period of renewed devotion to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. However, the church itself would face more challenges in the years to come. Following the Arab conquest of Jerusalem in 638, the city came under Muslim rule. Despite the change in power, Christians in Jerusalem initially experienced a period of relative peace and tolerance. Muslim rulers allowed Christians to continue their pilgrimages to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and the site remained a significant destination for believers. However, this period of coexistence was not to last. In 966, anti-Christian protests in Jerusalem led to a devastating fire that consumed the dome of the church. This event marked the beginning of a tumultuous era for the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Just a few decades later, in 1009, the zealous Fatimid Caliph al-Hakim ordered the complete destruction of the church. Al-Hakim's actions were driven by religious fervor and a desire to assert Muslim dominance over the city. Despite this destruction, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre would rise again. The Byzantine Emperor Constantine Monomachos generously financed the reconstruction of the church in the mid-11th century. The new church, while retaining much of its original layout, featured significant alterations, including a new entrance on the south side. This reconstruction marked the beginning of a new chapter for the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, one that would see it continue to attract pilgrims from across the Christian world. Remarkably, during much of this era, Muslim rulers in Jerusalem treated Christian pilgrims with kindness and respect. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre remained a place of deep spiritual significance, even as the city around it changed hands and underwent numerous transformations. The enduring legacy of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is a testament to the resilience of faith and the power of sacred spaces to inspire and unite people across centuries and cultures. The transformation of Jerusalem and its significance in Christian history reached a pivotal moment in 1077, when the Seljuk Turks seized control of the city. This event marked the beginning of widespread rumors about the mistreatment of Christian pilgrims. These stories of harassment and being denied entry to sacred sites, particularly the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, fueled a growing desire among Christians in Europe to reclaim these holy places. This fervent desire, especially the yearning to restore the Holy Sepulchre, became a powerful motivator behind the launch of the First Crusade, a monumental event that unfolded between 1096 and 1099. The First Crusade culminated in the capture of Jerusalem by the Crusaders in 1099, a victory that was celebrated with deep religious devotion. According to eyewitness accounts, the surviving Crusaders, filled with gratitude and reverence, made their way to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre to offer prayers. This act of worship was especially remarkable because the church at that time was in a state of disrepair, notably lacking a roof. Despite these conditions, the Crusaders' prayers within the sacred walls underscored the profound significance of the site in their spiritual journey. In the decades following the Crusaders' victory, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre underwent extensive reconstruction. Over the next 50 years, the church saw a transformation that preserved its original layout while enhancing its stature. The church was rebuilt to reflect the architectural styles of Western cathedrals, a change that symbolized the integration of Western Christian influence into this ancient and revered site. The surrounding garden, once a serene place of reflection, was repurposed into the Crusaders' Basilica, further anchoring the site's importance in the Christian world. Additionally, a separate chapel was constructed, dedicated to the Rock of Golgotha, the very site where Christians believed Jesus was crucified. The reconstruction efforts culminated in the rededication of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre on July 15, 1149, exactly 50 years after Jerusalem was captured by the Crusaders. This rededication marked a significant milestone in the history of the church, symbolizing its renewal and enduring significance. However, the work on the church did not cease with the rededication. Construction continued for several years thereafter, ensuring that the church evolved into the structure that visitors see today. One of the most striking features of the church, which has remained intact through the centuries, is its twin doorways. These doorways were not only a practical solution to manage the increasing number of pilgrims flocking to the site, but also a symbolic entryway into one of Christianity's most sacred spaces. The finely carved lintels above these doorways, once graced by the footsteps of countless pilgrims, were later moved to the Rockefeller Museum in Jerusalem following an earthquake in 1927, preserving these historic elements for future generations. The tumultuous history of Jerusalem took another turn in 1187 when the city was reconquered by Muslim forces. This shift in power led to the sealing off of one of the church's entrances, a move that reflected the changing political and religious dynamics of the time. Despite the return to Muslim rule, Christian pilgrims were still allowed to visit the site, and Western leaders engaged in negotiations to secure access rights for their followers. The preservation of the site, despite these challenges, ensured that the Church of the Holy Sepulchre remained a focal point of Christian devotion. In a remarkable twist of history, archaeologists made an astonishing discovery within the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the burial site of Jesus Christ. This discovery, hidden for centuries beneath layers of history, revealed something extraordinary within the tomb, a layer of ancient mortar beneath the stone where Jesus is believed to have been laid to rest. This mortar, dating back to the time of Emperor Constantine, the first Roman emperor to embrace Christianity, adds significant weight to the historical and religious narratives surrounding this sacred site. The tale of the tomb's discovery is deeply intertwined with the story of Constantine and his mother, Helena. Around 325 to 326 AD, driven by a divine calling, Constantine embarked on a mission to find the sacred place where Jesus was buried. Their search led them to Jerusalem, where they believed the tomb could be found. The journey brought them to an ancient Roman temple, possibly dedicated to Venus, the goddess of love, a site that would soon undergo a dramatic transformation. The ancient Roman temple, standing for centuries as a symbol of pagan worship, became the central focus of their exploration. In their quest to uncover the tomb, Constantine and Helena ordered the temple to be carefully dismantled, stone by stone. This painstaking process revealed the hidden secrets beneath, including a tomb carved from the rough edges of a limestone cave. The moment the tomb was uncovered marked a significant point in history, as the natural cave, now regarded as a sacred space, was exposed to the world. The tomb's discovery led to the creation of the edicule, a protective structure built around the sacred space to preserve its divine essence. This structure, which still stands today, symbolizes the intertwining of history, faith, and the search for sacred relics. The story of Constantine's pursuit and the subsequent revelation of the tomb beneath the Roman temple is a narrative deeply ingrained in Christian memory, blending the temporal and spiritual into a profoundly meaningful tale. Within the tomb believed to hold the remains of Jesus Christ, one feature stands out: a long shelf often referred to as the burial bed. According to Christian tradition, this is where the body of Jesus was tenderly laid after the crucifixion. The burial bed is not merely a physical structure. It carries profound symbolism, inviting contemplation on the significant moment in Christian theology when Jesus' body was placed here. The tomb itself, with its unique features, shares similarities with the tombs of wealthy Jews living in Jerusalem during the 1st century. These tombs, carved from sturdy limestone caves, often featured shelves and niches, reflecting a common understanding of how to honor the departed. The burial bed within the tomb is more than just a historical artifact. It is a vessel carrying centuries of devotion and contemplation. The marble covering the burial bed, believed to have been placed there no later than 1555, speaks to the passage of time. However, historical clues suggest that it might have been there even earlier, possibly dating back to the mid-1300s. Accounts from pilgrims, passed down through the ages, offer precious insights into the layers of time, enriching our understanding of the sacredness held within. Every chisel mark on the marble and each curve of the burial bed carries with it the whispers of centuries past, connecting ancient times with today. The tomb, with its special features and profound symbolism, transcends its physical space to become a vessel of faith, carrying the essence of Christian devotion through the ages. The story of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the tomb, and the sacred relics within it is a narrative that continues to inspire and resonate with believers worldwide, reminding us of the deep connection between history, faith, and the divine. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, a sacred site revered by Christians worldwide, invites all who approach to connect with a narrative forever etched in stone. This historic monument, believed to enshrine the tomb of Jesus Christ, has long been a focal point of faith, tradition, and scholarly inquiry. Recent scientific discoveries, particularly those related to the mortar found within the tomb, have further deepened our understanding of this ancient structure, unveiling secrets that have been hidden for centuries. A team of scientists, led by Chief Scientific Supervisor Antonia Moropoulou, embarked on an extraordinary mission to date mortar samples taken from various parts of the edicule, the protective structure that surrounds the tomb of Jesus. What they uncovered was nothing short of shocking, providing new insights into the history and construction of this sacred site. The mortar, often overlooked as a simple building material, became the centerpiece of their investigation, revealing layers of history embedded within its composition. Using advanced radiocarbon dating techniques, the researchers analyzed samples from different points within the edicule. Their goal was to unlock the ancient secrets preserved within the mortar, secrets that could shed light on the timeline of the edicule's construction. The results of these tests were nothing short of groundbreaking, offering a fresh perspective on the historical significance of the edicule and its connection to key figures in early Christianity. One of the most significant findings was the dating of the lower slab, a crucial part of the edicule. The analysis revealed that this slab was likely cemented in place during the mid-4th century, a period that coincides with the reign of Emperor Constantine. This discovery adds a profound layer of historical significance to the edicule, linking its construction to one of the most influential figures in Christian history. Constantine, who played a pivotal role in the spread of Christianity throughout the Roman Empire, is now believed to have been directly involved in the building of this sacred monument. For scholars and historians, the confirmation of Constantine's involvement in the construction of the edicule holds deep meaning. It not only ties the edicule to a critical period in Christian history, but also reinforces the importance of this site as a symbol of faith and devotion. The mid-4th century, a time when Christianity was emerging as a dominant force in the Roman Empire, is now seen as a crucial moment in the development of the edicule's architectural history. The significance of these findings extends beyond the realm of academia. For the millions of pilgrims who visit the Church of the Holy Sepulchre each year, the dating of the edicule's lower slab stands as evidence of the ongoing search for historical truth. The mortar samples, once silent witnesses to ancient craftsmanship, have now revealed insights that enhance our understanding of the people who shaped the sacred sanctuary of Jesus' tomb. Through scientific analysis, guided by precise dating methods, researchers have decoded the chronological imprints left by different builders and restorers, piecing together a timeline that spans centuries. One of the advanced methods used in this research was optically stimulated luminescence, OSL, a technique that allows scientists to determine when quartz sediment, a key component of mortar, was last exposed to light. This method is particularly significant because it provides an accurate way to date the mortar, offering details about the periods when the material underwent changes. The mortar samples were meticulously examined at 2 separate laboratories, each contributing independently to the quest for clarity about the edicule's timeline. The OSL analysis revealed fascinating insights into the history stored within the quartz sediment. By studying how this sediment was exposed to light over time, the researchers were able to gain a deeper understanding of the periods when the mortar was applied, providing clues to the construction and restoration efforts that have taken place over the centuries. As the research progressed, questions arose about whether the rebuilt church accurately reflected the sacred ground identified by a delegation from Rome 17 centuries earlier. Despite these uncertainties, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre remains a symbol of Jerusalem's enduring spirit, inviting reflection and investigation into the complex narratives of faith and historical accuracy. Further examination of mortar samples taken from the remains of the southern wall of the cave provided additional insights. These samples, dated to the years 335 and 1570, established a link between construction work from the Roman era and a documented restoration in the 16th century. The southern wall, having witnessed centuries of change, revealed signs of Roman-era construction, reinforcing the story of how the edicule evolved over time. Through meticulous scientific analysis, guided by precise dating methods, researchers were able to decode the chronological imprints left by different builders and restorers. This process of unraveling the history of the edicule not only illuminated the past, but also paid homage to the skill and dedication of those who, throughout the centuries, contributed to the ongoing preservation of this sacred space. One of the most significant discoveries came when researchers examined mortar from the tomb entrance, which bore the signature of the 11th century. This finding aligns with a crucial period in the edicule's history, specifically the careful reconstruction that followed its destruction in 1009. The evidence highlights the resilience of those who worked tirelessly to restore the edicule during this challenging period, demonstrating their unwavering dedication to preserving this holy site. The careful examination of these ancient mortar fragments not only helped determine their age, but also honored the craftsmanship and devotion of those who contributed to the edicule's restoration efforts over the centuries. These findings underscore the importance of ongoing research and preservation efforts at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, as each new discovery adds another piece to the puzzle of this sacred monument's history. While the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is widely regarded as the most likely site of Jesus' tomb, it is not the only location in Jerusalem that claims this distinction. There are 6 other sites in the city that some believe could be the true burial place of Jesus. One such location is the Talpiot family tomb, discovered in 1980 about 5 kilometers south of the Old City of Jerusalem. This site gained widespread attention after the release of the 2007 Discovery Channel documentary, The Lost Tomb of Jesus, produced by James Cameron and directed by Simcha Jacobovici. Inside the Talpiot tomb, archaeologists discovered 10 ossuaries, or bone boxes, bearing names like Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Of particular interest was an ossuary with the inscription Mariamene, which some believe belonged to Mary Magdalene, suggesting a possible marital connection to Jesus. 2 other ossuaries contained names that have led to further speculation: Jude, son of Jesus, and Jesus, son of Joseph. These inscriptions have fueled theories that Jesus and Mary Magdalene may have had a son named Jude. However, many scholars caution against drawing definitive conclusions based on these findings. They point out that names like Jesus, Joseph, and Mary were common in 1st century Judea, and their presence in the Talpiot tomb does not necessarily prove a direct connection to the biblical figures. Critics of the documentary argue that Cameron and Jacobovici may have overinterpreted the significance of these names, given their widespread use during that time. Supporters of the Talpiot tomb theory often cite DNA testing, which reportedly showed no maternal link between Jesus and Mariamene, as evidence supporting the idea of a marriage between the two. However, critics counter that the lack of a maternal link does not rule out other possible relationships, such as a father-daughter or grandfather-granddaughter connection. 3 scientific observations on the shroud. In 1898, scientists observed something astonishing about the Shroud of Turin. The images on it resembled photographic negatives more than actual photographs. This discovery ignited intense curiosity and debate about the shroud's authenticity. To resolve these disputes definitively, the Vatican decided in 1988 to allow carbon dating of the shroud. Microscopic samples of the linen cloth, each slightly larger than a postage stamp, were distributed to 3 laboratories in different countries. The goal was to use carbon dating to determine the age of the shroud. The results from all 3 laboratories were unexpected, They dated the cloth to between 1260 and 1390, suggesting it was a medieval creation. This conclusion posed a significant problem for scientists, as the shroud's image continued to defy explanation. Despite the carbon dating results, the shroud displayed a photographic negative of a body bearing wounds similar to those Christ would have suffered. Scientists, while confident in their carbon dating methods, could not fully explain the shroud's image or its meaning. For nearly a century, scientists have studied the shroud relentlessly, utilizing the most advanced technology available. However, no one has been able to recreate the enigmatic image it bears. Instead, scientific progress has led to more public disclosure of new data supporting the Turin shroud's authenticity. One notable opinion comes from Barry Schwartz, a member of the initial examination team and the project's official photographer. Initially skeptical, Schwartz was not a practicing Jew and thought the shroud was merely an exquisite painting. However, during the extensive examination of the material, he encountered one of the image's enduring mysteries that continues to intrigue scholars today. The investigation used a specialized tool for X-ray analysis, allowing them to project an image's brightness and darkness vertically into space. Typically, this technique would produce a distorted image based on density, but the shroud allowed for a three-dimensional view of a human shape. This finding implied a high correlation between the image's density and the distance between the cloth and the body. Schwartz concluded that the only possible explanation was the contact between the fabric and the body, dismissing the notion of the image being a mere projection. Traditional pictures or artwork do not contain the same information as the shroud. The team initially searched for binders or paint pigments that would suggest the image was made artificially, but found none. Closer examination revealed that the image consisted of concentrated yellow-colored strands, indicating varying intensity of darkness in specific areas. There was no evidence of external influences or materials used to create the image. However, a radiocarbon test conducted 10 years later cast doubt on the shroud's authenticity, labeling it a medieval artifact. Schwartz highlighted the troubling fact that the British Museum, overseeing the 3 laboratories that conducted the radiocarbon testing, delayed releasing the raw data for 27 years. In scientific practice, such data is rarely withheld for so long. Typically, findings are published in journals, and raw data is shared with other researchers for validation or expansion. When the raw data was finally obtained, it became clear why the delay occurred. The evidence revealed that the sample taken from the shroud was not homogeneous. It was a fragment of cloth with one date hundreds of years later at one end and a different date at the other. Consequently, no single spot on the strip could be positively correlated with the cloth's overall date. Moreover, the researchers failed to gather control samples from other areas of the shroud, a prerequisite for precise radiocarbon dating. Further examination revealed the presence of interwoven cotton in the corner where the sample was taken. Combining cotton and linen or wool and cotton is forbidden by Jewish law, known as the mixing of the kinds. This finding contradicts this directive. High-status burial shrouds were typically made of pure linen, but the discovery of cotton raised the possibility that the shroud was rewoven or repaired at some point. Consequently, the repaired corner used for radiocarbon testing rendered it impossible to date the remaining pieces of the cloth accurately. The revelation that the shroud was medieval led to questions about the study's intentions. An anonymous donor had given a substantial sum of $1 million to the British Museum before the official release of the shroud's date, with the explicit aim of refuting its authenticity. The Oxford Laboratory, one of the 3 labs that examined the shroud, received this money. This raises concerns about whether powerful groups are interested in obscuring the truth about the shroud. In addition to radiocarbon dating, scientists have also examined the blood chemistry on the shroud to search for evidence of its genuineness. The fabric contains type AB blood stains, more common among Jews than the general population. Furthermore, the blood retains a vivid red hue, which adds to the intrigue surrounding the shroud. Despite extensive scientific efforts, the Shroud of Turin remains a mystery. While carbon dating suggests it is a medieval artifact, the image on the cloth defies conventional explanations. The lack of evidence for artificial creation and the findings related to blood chemistry continue to fuel debates about its authenticity. As technology advances and more data is disclosed, the shroud's true nature may one day be fully understood, but for now, it remains one of history's most enigmatic relics. The Shroud of Turin is an unparalleled depiction of Jesus' extreme suffering to save humanity. While some may dismiss it as a fabrication, it transforms from mere fabric to an enduring representation of faith that uplifts spirits and elevates feelings everywhere. Here are two compelling stories about the shroud that will touch your heart. In 1418, during the 100 Years' War, Lere Jaffro Dez's granddaughter, Margaret des Charnes, and her husband offered to store the shroud in their castle for safekeeping. Her husband wrote a receipt for the exchange, acknowledging that the cloth was not Jesus' authentic burial shroud and promising to return it when it was safe. However, Margaret later refused to return it and instead took it on tour, advertising it as Jesus' real burial shroud. In 1453, she sold the shroud to the royal house of Savoy, which ruled over parts of modern-day France, Italy, and Switzerland, in exchange for 2 castles. As punishment for selling the shroud, Margaret received excommunication. In 1502, the House of Savoy placed the shroud in the Sainte-Chapelle in Chambéry, now part of France. In 1532, a fire broke out in the chapel, melting part of the silver container protecting the shroud. The silver fell onto the shroud, burning through it. The burn marks and water stains from extinguishing the fire are still visible today. In 1578, the House of Savoy moved the shroud to the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy, where it has remained, except during World War II, when it was relocated for safekeeping. In April 2020, Turin Archbishop Cesare Nocilia announced that, in light of the devastation caused by COVID-19, people worldwide could view the Shroud of Turin online for Easter. On the Thursday before the holiday in 2020, Italy reported 143,626 known cases of COVID-19 and 18,279 deaths from the virus. Archbishop Nociglia said he was motivated to provide a live stream of the shroud to thousands who requested to view it during the global crisis. Thus, the shroud remains sacred, reviving thousands of souls worldwide. Before you click off, wouldn't you love to know what Jesus looked like while he was on earth? For centuries, the most common image of Jesus Christ in Western cultures has been that of a bearded, fair-skinned man with long, wavy, light brown or blonde hair and blue eyes. However, the Bible does not describe Jesus physically, and all evidence indicates he probably looked very different from this portrayal. The Bible offers few clues about Jesus' physical appearance. Most of what we know about him comes from the first 4 books of the New Testament, the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. According to the Gospels, Jesus was a Jewish man born in Bethlehem and raised in Nazareth in Galilee, formerly Palestine, now northern Israel, during the 1st century. According to Luke 3:23, Jesus was about 30 years old when he began his ministry. The Bible tells us virtually nothing about what he looked like, except that he did not stand out in any particular way. When Jesus was arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane before the crucifixion, Judas Iscariot had to point Jesus out to the soldiers among the disciples, presumably because they all appeared similar. For many scholars, Revelation 1:14-15 offers a clue that Jesus' skin was darker and his hair was woolly in texture. The hairs of his head were white, like white wool, like snow. His eyes were like a flame of fire. His feet were like burnished bronze, refined in a furnace. According to Robert Cargill, assistant professor of classics and religious studies at the University of Iowa and editor of Biblical Archaeology Review, we do not know what Jesus looked like, but if all we know about him is true, he would have looked like a Jewish Galilean. Depictions of Jesus have changed over the centuries. Some of the earliest known artistic representations of Jesus date to the mid-3rd century AD, more than 2 centuries after his death. These paintings from the ancient catacombs of St. Domitilla in Rome, discovered about 400 years ago, reflect one of the most common images of Jesus at the time: the Good Shepherd, a young, short-haired, beardless man with a lamb around his shoulders. Another rare early portrait of Jesus was discovered in 2018 on the walls of a ruined church in southern Israel. Painted in the 6th century AD, it is the earliest known image of Christ found in Israel, portraying him with shorter curly hair, a depiction common to the eastern region of the Byzantine Empire, especially in Egypt and the Syria-Palestine region, but which disappeared from later Byzantine art. The long-haired, bearded image of Jesus that emerged in the 4th century was heavily influenced by representations of Greek and Roman gods, particularly the all-powerful Greek god Zeus. At that point, Jesus started to appear in a long robe, seated on a throne, such as in the 5th century mosaic on the altar of the Santa Pudenziana Church in Rome, sometimes with a halo surrounding his head. The point of these depictions was to emphasize Jesus' divine and kingly status. The Shroud of Turin remains a profound and mysterious artifact that continues to captivate and inspire. Whether viewed as a miraculous relic of Jesus' crucifixion or a historical enigma, it stands as a testament to the enduring power of faith and the profound impact of Jesus' life and death. Stories were never intended to show him as a man, but to make theological points about who Jesus was: Christ, King, Judge, and the Divine Son. Joan Taylor, professor of Christian origins and Second Temple Judaism at King's College London, noted that these depictions have evolved into the standard images of Jesus we recognize today. However, not all images of Jesus conform to the dominant portrayal seen in Western art. Different cultures worldwide have depicted him as one of their own, reflecting the dominant racial identity of each culture. But can we get a more definite clue from science? Let's find out. In 2001, retired medical artist Richard Neve led a team of Israeli and British forensic anthropologists and computer programmers in creating a new image of Jesus. They based this reconstruction on an Israeli skull dating to the 1st century AD, using computer modeling and their knowledge of what Jewish people looked like at the time. While no one claims it is an exact reconstruction of Jesus' appearance, scholars consider this image, depicting a man around 5 feet tall, with darker skin, dark eyes, and shorter, curlier hair, more accurate than many artistic depictions of the Son of God. In her 2018 book, What Did Jesus Look Like?, Taylor used archaeological remains, historical texts, and ancient Egyptian funerary art to conclude that Jesus, like most people in Judea and Egypt of his time, most likely had brown eyes, dark brown to black hair, and olive brown skin. He may have stood about 5 feet 5 inches, 166 centimeters tall, which was the average height for a man at the time. While Cargill agrees that these more recent images of Jesus, including darker, perhaps curlier hair, darker skin, and dark eyes, probably come closer to the truth, he stresses that we can never really know exactly what Jesus looked like. According to him, Jewish Galileans didn't have blue eyes and blonde hair 2,000 years ago. Thus, the question of what Jesus looked like will only be resolved when he returns or we meet him in heaven.
The recent archaeological discoveries in the tomb of Jesus have provided an extraordinary glimpse into the past, offering new insights into the historical figure of Jesus and the world in which he lived. For historians, the objects found in the tomb, such as Roman coins and Aramaic inscriptions, offer invaluable clues to the funerary practices, materials used, and cultural beliefs of the era. These artifacts serve as tangible links to the historical Jesus, potentially verifying gospel accounts and enriching our understanding of the complex socio-political landscape of ancient Judea. The shroud fragments and ceramic vessels found in the tomb align with Jewish burial customs and could directly connect to the crucifixion and burial narratives. For believers, these discoveries hold profound implications, potentially strengthening faith by providing tangible evidence of biblical stories and possibly attracting new followers. However, these findings also raise important ethical and theological questions about how to interpret these artifacts within the context of modern faith. The debate among archaeologists, historians, and theologians will continue as they carefully analyze and verify these findings, balancing historical evidence with religious significance. This discovery marks a new era of exploration and reflection, bridging the gap between past and present and deepening our appreciation of the rich tapestry of human experience. As we move forward, it is crucial to approach these artifacts with reverence and responsibility, recognizing their potential to transform our understanding of history and faith. The intersection of history and faith, illuminated by these remarkable finds, offers a unique opportunity to connect with the profound spiritual heritage that shapes the lives of millions worldwide. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and leave your comments to continue exploring these stories that enrich our lives. God bless you.
Carry each other's burdens, and in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. It is a tangible manifestation of faith in action, where the spiritual discipline of prayer becomes a powerful force for change, advocating for peace and invoking divine protection over those caught in the crossfire of geopolitical strife. In encouraging prayer for nations like Israel amidst its conflict with Hamas, there is a recognition of the limitations of human efforts and the acknowledgement of the need for a higher power's intervention. This call to prayer is a reminder of the profound impact that collective faith-filled intercession can have on the world stage, catalyzing peace and serving as a testament to the enduring power of prayer in shaping the destinies of nations. Heavenly Father, we beseech you amidst the turmoil between Israel and Hamas, seeking your intervention for peace. Protect the innocent, guide leaders towards reconciliation, and foster dialogue among adversaries. May your peace transcend conflict, healing the wounded and comforting the bereaved. We pray for the cessation of hostilities and the triumph of peace. Lord, manifest your will, demonstrating your mercy and power. Amen. Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus, both members of the Sanhedrin, were secret believers in Jesus. Despite their initial fear and hesitation to openly follow him during his ministry, they courageously sought to honor Jesus in his death. These two men approached Pilate for Jesus' body, determined to provide him with a proper burial according to Jewish customs. They purchased a costly amount of myrrh and aloes, about 75 pounds, to anoint his body. Myrrh, a fragrant and sticky gum resin, was traditionally used by the Egyptians in embalming, while the Jews used it in powdered form. When mixed with aloes and aromatic sandalwood, these spices would harden and form a protective cocoon around the body. Their actions demonstrated their deep love and respect for Christ, showing a willingness to stand up for their beliefs at a crucial moment. They recognized the importance of burying Jesus honorably, rather than leaving him in a place designated for criminals and the city dump before the Sabbath, which began just 3 hours after his death. John is the only gospel writer who tells us about Nicodemus assisting Joseph with Jesus' burial. Both men, who had been secret believers until this point, felt compelled to make up for their lack of courage during Jesus' life by honoring him in death. The extravagant amount of spices they used was fitting for a king's burial, symbolizing Jesus as the King of Kings. Nicodemus brought approximately 100 liters, around 75 pounds, of perfumed ointment made from myrrh and aloes, which would have been exceedingly expensive. God the Father oversaw every detail surrounding his son's death and burial. Even in death, Jesus' burial fulfilled prophecy. Although the leaders had planned for him a common grave among the thieves, God arranged for him to be buried in a rich man's tomb. Isaiah 53:9 foretold, "He was assigned a grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth." Several women who had traveled with Jesus from Galilee also accompanied the burial. Luke 23:55 notes that they saw where the tomb was located, so they could return with more spices and perfumes after the Sabbath. Merrill Tenney, in his book The Reality of the Resurrection, describes the customary burial procedure. The body was washed, straightened, and then bandaged tightly from the armpits to the ankles in strips of linen about a foot wide. Aromatic spices, often of a gummy consistency, were placed between the wrapping folds, partially serving as cement, to glue the cloth wrappings into a solid covering. The body was encased, and a square piece of cloth was wrapped around the head and tied under the chin to prevent the lower jaw from sagging. Matthew records that Jesus was placed in a new tomb cut out of the rock, owned by Joseph of Arimathea. Rich men's tombs like this were large enough to stand in. Matthew also mentions that a large stone was rolled in front of the entrance to the tomb. Jewish high priests and elders then asked Pilate for a guard of 4 Roman soldiers to watch over the tomb, fearing that Jesus' disciples might steal his body and claim he had risen. To prevent any deception, the stone door was sealed. Doubters claim that Jesus did not die on the cross but merely fainted. However, this theory does not hold up to scrutiny. Jesus was pierced in the side with a spear, and blood and water, a clear sign of death, flowed out. His body was wrapped in 75 pounds of spices and sealed in a cold tomb with no food or water for 3 days, guarded by Roman soldiers. It is illogical to think he could survive this and simply walk away. Equally implausible is the idea that his enemies stole his body. They would not have wanted to allow his followers to proclaim that Jesus had risen. Matthew wrote that the Jewish leaders attempted to refute the resurrection by saying the disciples stole the body, even paying the Roman soldiers to support this claim. Matthew 28:11-15. The leaders never denied the empty tomb, implicitly admitting it was empty. The disciples had no reason to steal the body. After Jesus' death, they were overcome with sorrow and fear, hiding from persecution. Many of them later suffered and died for their faith, based on their belief in the resurrected Jesus. Why would they give their lives for what they knew to be a lie? Additionally, there were many appearances of the risen Lord Jesus over the next 40 days, including to over 500 people at once. 1 Corinthians 15:6. Critics also suggest the women went to the wrong tomb, but the guards were seen cowering on the ground. Matthew 28:4. Roman soldiers were not known to make such mistakes. The Gospel writers provide detailed accounts of these events because the resurrection is central to the Christian faith. Without the resurrection, there is no hope or life after death. The fact that many of Jesus' followers were martyred for their belief in the risen Christ speaks to their conviction. Considering the disciples' willingness to die for their faith, it is unlikely they would have done so for a lie. Their experiences after the crucifixion ignited a fervent passion to spread the gospel, despite persecution and hardship. Their testimonies and the growth of the early church underscore the transformative power of the resurrection. After reflecting on these accounts, I ask you, what will you do with this Jesus who claims to be the Son of God and the King of Kings? How will you respond to him? I encourage you to offer your own prayer to the Father, thanking him for his love. If you have never given your life wholeheartedly to him, perhaps today is the day to do so. Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus, both members of the Sanhedrin, were secret believers in Jesus. Despite their initial fear and hesitation to openly follow him during his ministry, they courageously sought to honor Jesus in his death. These two men approached Pilate for Jesus' body, determined to provide him with a proper burial according to Jewish customs. They purchased a costly amount of myrrh and aloes, about 75 pounds, to anoint his body. Myrrh, a fragrant and sticky gum resin, was traditionally used by the Egyptians in embalming, while the Jews used it in powdered form. When mixed with aloes and aromatic sandalwood, these spices would harden and form a protective cocoon around the body. Their actions demonstrated their deep love and respect for Christ, showing a willingness to stand up for their beliefs at a crucial moment. They recognized the importance of burying Jesus honorably, rather than leaving him in a place designated for criminals and the city dump, before the Sabbath, which began just 3 hours after his death. John is the only gospel writer who tells us about Nicodemus assisting Joseph with Jesus' burial. Both men, who had been secret believers until this point, felt compelled to make up for their lack of courage during Jesus' life by honoring him in death. The extravagant amount of spices they used was fitting for a king's burial, symbolizing Jesus as the King of Kings. Nicodemus brought approximately 100 liters, around 75 pounds, of perfumed ointment made from myrrh and aloes, which would have been exceedingly expensive. God the Father oversaw every detail surrounding his son's death and burial. Even in death, Jesus' burial fulfilled prophecy. Although the leaders had planned for him a common grave among the thieves, God arranged for him to be buried in a rich man's tomb. Isaiah 53:9 foretold, "He was assigned a grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth." Several women who had traveled with Jesus from Galilee also accompanied the burial. Luke 23:55 notes that they saw where the tomb was located, so they could return with more spices and perfumes after the Sabbath. Merrill Tenney, in his book The Reality of the Resurrection, describes the customary burial procedure. The body was washed, straightened, and then bandaged tightly from the armpits to the ankles in strips of linen about a foot wide. Aromatic spices, often of a gummy consistency, were placed between the wrapping folds, partially serving as cement, to glue the cloth wrappings into a solid covering. The body was encased, and a square piece of cloth was wrapped around the head and tied under the chin to prevent the lower jaw from sagging. Matthew records that Jesus was placed in a new tomb cut out of the rock, owned by Joseph of Arimathea. Rich men's tombs like this were large enough to stand in. Matthew also mentions that a large stone was rolled in front of the entrance to the tomb. Jewish high priests and elders then asked Pilate for a guard of 4 Roman soldiers to watch over the tomb, fearing that Jesus' disciples might steal his body and claim he had risen. To prevent any deception, the stone door was sealed. Doubters claim that Jesus did not die on the cross but merely fainted. However, this theory does not hold up to scrutiny. Jesus was pierced in the side with a spear, and blood and water, a clear sign of death, flowed out. His body was wrapped in 75 pounds of spices and sealed in a cold tomb with no food or water for 3 days, guarded by Roman soldiers. It is illogical to think he could survive this and simply walk away. Equally implausible is the idea that his enemies stole his body. They would not have wanted to allow his followers to proclaim that Jesus had risen. Matthew wrote that the Jewish leaders attempted to refute the resurrection by saying the disciples stole the body, even paying the Roman soldiers to support this claim. Matthew 28:11-15. The leaders never denied the empty tomb, implicitly admitting it was empty. The disciples had no reason to steal the body. After Jesus' death, they were overcome with sorrow and fear, hiding from persecution. Many of them later suffered and died for their faith, based on their belief in the resurrected Jesus. Why would they give their lives for what they knew to be a lie? Additionally, there were many appearances of the risen Lord Jesus over the next 40 days, including to over 500 people at once. 1 Corinthians 15:6. Critics also suggest the women went to the wrong tomb, but the guards were seen cowering on the ground. Matthew 28:4. Roman soldiers were not known to make such mistakes. The Gospel writers provide detailed accounts of these events because the resurrection is central to the Christian faith. Without the resurrection, there is no hope or life after death. The fact that many of Jesus' followers were martyred for their belief in the risen Christ speaks to their conviction. Considering the disciples' willingness to die for their faith, it is unlikely they would have done so for a lie. Their experiences after the crucifixion ignited a fervent passion to spread the gospel, despite persecution and hardship. Their testimonies and the growth of the early church underscore the transformative power of the resurrection. After reflecting on these accounts, I ask you, what will you do with this Jesus who claims to be the Son of God and the King of Kings? How will you respond to him? I encourage you to offer your own prayer to the Father, thanking him for his love. If you have never given your life wholeheartedly to him, perhaps today is the day to do so.
For the first time in centuries, researchers have uncovered what's believed to be Jesus' tomb.
Workmen uncovering the marble slab over the tomb. The historian Eusebius said he did it to cover the tomb where Jesus was buried.
Over 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ's life and death profoundly impacted the world. But what if I told you that scientists recently decided to explore his tomb? And guess what? They found it. What they discovered inside is nothing short of astonishing and has the potential to change the course of history as we know it. Let's uncover the incredible relics found inside Jesus' tomb. You won't want to miss this. We are Jesus' eternal aura. In today's video, you will have appropriate answers to all the questions above. Before you know what happened, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and click the bell icon for all the latest updates.
Researchers have uncovered what's believed to be Jesus' tomb inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Jesus Christ's tomb. Without his life, death, and resurrection, Christianity as we know it wouldn't exist. While our knowledge of Jesus primarily comes from the scriptures, archaeologists have been on a quest to uncover the true location of his tomb. According to the Bible, Jesus was buried in a rock-cut tomb following his crucifixion, and amazed his followers by rising from the dead 3 days later. This incredible event is central to Christian belief, but where exactly is this tomb? For centuries, this question has fascinated biblical scholars and historians. Could it be the Talpiot tomb in Jerusalem, the Garden tomb, or perhaps a burial site in distant locations like Japan or India? Most experts agree that the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem's Old City is the most likely location. This church, believed to date back to the 4th century, was identified as the site of Jesus' tomb by Emperor Constantine's representatives in 325 AD. Beneath a Roman temple built by Emperor Hadrian, they discovered a limestone cave with a burial bed, fitting the biblical description of Jesus' tomb. Despite this widely held belief, it's challenging to confirm with absolute certainty that Jesus was buried there. Early Christians faced persecution and were forced to flee Jerusalem, making it difficult to preserve his grave. Over the years, other potential tombs have been suggested. Some believe the Garden tomb in Jerusalem, unearthed in 1867, could be the site, while others consider the Talpiot tomb, discovered in 1980, a candidate. However, many scholars argue that these locations lack the historical weight of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. In 2016, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre was unsealed for the first time in centuries. The church has endured numerous challenges over the centuries: sacked by Persians in the 7th century, destroyed by Muslims in the 11th century, and burned down in the 19th century. Yet it has always been rebuilt by devoted Christians. To prevent visitors from taking pieces of stone, the tomb was sealed with marble cladding around 1555. When Israeli authorities deemed the building unsafe in 2016, Greek Orthodox, Armenian Orthodox, and Roman Catholic entities overseeing the church agreed to repairs. Specialists from the National Technical University of Athens undertook the restoration, carefully removing damaged mortar, repairing masonry, and reinforcing the structure. During their work, they also decided to open the tomb. It was a delicate process, given the tomb's significance to Christianity and other religions. After moving the marble cladding and a second slab carved with a cross, they accessed the limestone cave beneath. For 60 hours, the team collected samples, took rare photographs, and reinforced the tomb's walls. The tomb, plain and unadorned, was revealed to the public after 9 months and $3 million of work, with a small marble window allowing pilgrims to see the limestone rock beneath. This incredible discovery raises further questions. According to John 20:6-7, when Simon Peter entered the tomb, he saw the linen cloths that had wrapped Jesus, with the head cloth separate from the rest. This leads us to the Shroud of Turin, a piece of linen that many believe could be the very cloth mentioned in the Bible. What mysteries does this ancient relic hold? The Shroud of Turin, a highly debated religious relic, has sparked intense controversy, even within the Catholic Church. Carbon dating tests initially indicated that the relic originated between 800 and 1,000 years after Christ, raising suspicions of it being a medieval forgery. To add to the intrigue, the raw data from these tests was kept secret from the public for an astounding 27 years. There were also suspicions that financial incentives were given to the laboratories involved, possibly to promote the myth that the Shroud of Turin was a medieval fake. However, significant new information has emerged, casting doubt on the previous conclusions. Notably, a member of the original examining team has publicly declared that the testing procedure was defective, rendering the results untrustworthy. The Shroud of Turin has been meticulously preserved since 1578 and is currently housed in the Royal Chapel of the Cathedral of San Giovanni Battista. This raises the question of whether government organizations have an interest in keeping its secrets. The shroud is quite large, measuring 4.3 meters in length and 1.1 meters in width, with its surface displaying faint brownish images that add to its mystery. When looking at the shroud, one sees the ghostly image of a man with sunken eyes, standing approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall. One half of the cloth shows an image of a body lying lengthwise, while the other half is folded to cover the entire front from the feet to the face, as though the shroud had witnessed a person's final moments. It is said that the inscriptions on the shroud remarkably resemble the wounds Jesus Christ received while hanging on the cross. The head bears thorn marks, as if covered by a crown of thorns. Cuts on the back indicate a severe beating, while bruises on the shoulders suggest the weight of a heavy load carried. Most poignant are the stains found across the shroud, believed to be bloodstains, rumored to be treasured reminders of the ultimate sacrifice made for humanity. It is important to note that the Catholic Church does not formally certify the authenticity of any relic. While the Church acknowledges the Shroud of Turin, it has not explicitly stated that it is more than an icon of Christian devotion. For millions of pilgrims since the late 19th century, it has symbolized the mystery of the Lord's suffering and death. Researchers have used various scientific methods to investigate the shroud's secrets, bringing more questions than answers. As more studies are conducted, the Shroud of Turin remains a focal point of faith, mystery, and debate, reflecting the enduring enigma of its origins and the story it seems to tell. 3 scientific observations on the shroud. In 1898, scientists observed something astonishing about the Shroud of Turin. The images on it resembled photographic negatives more than actual photographs. This discovery ignited intense curiosity and debate about the shroud's authenticity. To resolve these disputes definitively, the Vatican decided in 1988 to allow carbon dating of the shroud. Microscopic samples of the linen cloth, each slightly larger than a postage stamp, were distributed to 3 laboratories in different countries. The goal was to use carbon dating to determine the age of the shroud. The results from all 3 laboratories were unexpected. They dated the cloth to between 1260 and 1390, suggesting it was a medieval creation. This conclusion posed a significant problem for scientists, as the shroud's image continued to defy explanation. Despite the carbon dating results, the shroud displayed a photographic negative of a body bearing wounds similar to those Christ would have suffered. Scientists, while confident in their carbon dating methods, could not fully explain the shroud's image or its meaning. For nearly a century, scientists have studied the shroud relentlessly, utilizing the most advanced technology available. However, no one has been able to recreate the enigmatic image it bears. Instead, scientific progress has led to more public disclosure of new data supporting the Turin shroud's authenticity. One notable opinion comes from Barry Schwartz, a member of the initial examination team and the project's official photographer. Initially skeptical, Schwartz was not a practicing Jew and thought the shroud was merely an exquisite painting. However, during the extensive examination of the material, he encountered one of the image's enduring mysteries that continues to intrigue scholars today. The investigation used a specialized tool for X-ray analysis, allowing them to project an image's brightness and darkness vertically into space. Typically, this technique would produce a distorted image based on density, but the shroud allowed for a three-dimensional view of a human shape. This finding implied a high correlation between the image's density and the distance between the cloth and the body. Schwartz concluded that the only possible explanation was the contact between the fabric and the body, dismissing the notion of the image being a mere projection. Traditional pictures or artwork do not contain the same information as the shroud. The team initially searched for binders or paint pigments that would suggest the image was made artificially, but found none. Closer examination revealed that the image consisted of concentrated yellow-colored strands, indicating varying intensity of darkness in specific areas. There was no evidence of external influences or materials used to create the image. However, a radiocarbon test conducted 10 years later cast doubt on the shroud's authenticity, labeling it a medieval artifact. Schwartz highlighted the troubling fact that the British Museum, overseeing the 3 laboratories that conducted the radiocarbon testing, delayed releasing the raw data for 27 years. In scientific practice, such data is rarely withheld for so long. Typically, findings are published in journals, and raw data is shared with other researchers for validation or expansion. When the raw data was finally obtained, it became clear why the delay occurred. The evidence revealed that the sample taken from the shroud was not homogeneous. It was a fragment of cloth with one date hundreds of years later at one end and a different date at the other. Consequently, no single spot on the strip could be positively correlated with the cloth's overall date. Moreover, the researchers failed to gather control samples from other areas of the shroud, a prerequisite for precise radiocarbon dating. Further examination revealed the presence of interwoven cotton in the corner where the sample was taken. Combining cotton and linen or wool and cotton is forbidden by Jewish law, known as the mixing of the kinds. This finding contradicts this directive. High-status burial shrouds were typically made of pure linen, but the discovery of cotton raised the possibility that the shroud was rewoven or repaired at some point. Consequently, the repaired corner used for radiocarbon testing rendered it impossible to date the remaining pieces of the cloth accurately. The revelation that the shroud was medieval led to questions about the study's intentions. An anonymous donor had given a substantial sum of $1 million to the British Museum before the official release of the shroud's date, with the explicit aim of refuting its authenticity. The Oxford Laboratory, one of the 3 labs that examined the shroud, received this money. This raises concerns about whether powerful groups are interested in obscuring the truth about the shroud. In addition to radiocarbon dating, scientists have also examined the blood chemistry on the shroud to search for evidence of its genuineness. The fabric contains type AB blood stains, more common among Jews than the general population. Furthermore, the blood retains a vivid red hue, which adds to the intrigue surrounding the shroud. Despite extensive scientific efforts, the Shroud of Turin remains a mystery. While carbon dating suggests it is a medieval artifact, the image on the cloth defies conventional explanations. The lack of evidence for artificial creation and the findings related to blood chemistry continue to fuel debates about its authenticity. As technology advances and more data is disclosed, the shroud's true nature may one day be fully understood, but for now, it remains one of history's most enigmatic relics. The Shroud of Turin is an unparalleled depiction of Jesus' extreme suffering to save humanity. While some may dismiss it as a fabrication, it transforms from mere fabric to an enduring representation of faith that uplifts spirits and elevates feelings everywhere. Here are two compelling stories about the shroud that will touch your heart. In 1418, during the 100 Years' War, Lere Jaffro Dez's granddaughter, Margaret des Charnes, and her husband offered to store the shroud in their castle for safekeeping. Her husband wrote a receipt for the exchange, acknowledging that the cloth was not Jesus' authentic burial shroud and promising to return it when it was safe. However, Margaret later refused to return it and instead took it on tour, advertising it as Jesus' real burial shroud. In 1453, she sold the shroud to the royal house of Savoy, which ruled over parts of modern-day France, Italy, and Switzerland, in exchange for 2 castles. As punishment for selling the shroud, Margaret received excommunication. In 1502, the House of Savoy placed the shroud in the Sainte-Chapelle in Chambéry, now part of France. In 1532, a fire broke out in the chapel, melting part of the silver container protecting the shroud. The silver fell onto the shroud, burning through it. The burn marks and water stains from extinguishing the fire are still visible today. In 1578, the House of Savoy moved the shroud to the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy, where it has remained, except during World War II, when it was relocated for safekeeping. In April 2020, Turin Archbishop Cesare Nocilia announced that, in light of the devastation caused by COVID-19, people worldwide could view the Shroud of Turin online for Easter. On the Thursday before the holiday in 2020, Italy reported 143,626 known cases of COVID-19 and 18,279 deaths from the virus. Archbishop Nociglia said he was motivated to provide a live stream of the shroud to thousands who requested to view it during the global crisis. Thus, the shroud remains sacred, reviving thousands of souls worldwide. Before you click off, wouldn't you love to know what Jesus looked like while he was on earth? For centuries, the most common image of Jesus Christ in Western cultures has been that of a bearded, fair-skinned man with long, wavy, light brown or blonde hair and blue eyes. However, the Bible does not describe Jesus physically, and all evidence indicates he probably looked very different from this portrayal. The Bible offers few clues about Jesus' physical appearance. Most of what we know about him comes from the first 4 books of the New Testament, the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. According to the Gospels, Jesus was a Jewish man born in Bethlehem and raised in Nazareth in Galilee, formerly Palestine, now northern Israel, during the 1st century. According to Luke 3:23, Jesus was about 30 years old when he began his ministry. The Bible tells us virtually nothing about what he looked like, except that he did not stand out in any particular way. When Jesus was arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane before the crucifixion, Judas Iscariot had to point Jesus out to the soldiers among the disciples, presumably because they all appeared similar. For many scholars, Revelation 1:14-15 offers a clue that Jesus' skin was darker and his hair was woolly in texture. The hairs of his head were white, like white wool, like snow. His eyes were like a flame of fire. His feet were like burnished bronze, refined in a furnace. According to Robert Cargill, assistant professor of classics and religious studies at the University of Iowa, and editor of Biblical Archaeology Review, we do not know what Jesus looked like. But if all we know about him is true, he would have looked like a Jewish Galilean. Depictions of Jesus have changed over the centuries. Some of the earliest known artistic representations of Jesus date to the mid-3rd century AD, more than 2 centuries after his death. These paintings from the ancient catacombs of St. Domitilla in Rome, discovered about 400 years ago, reflect one of the most common images of Jesus at the time. The Good Shepherd, a young, short-haired, beardless man with a lamb around his shoulders. Another rare early portrait of Jesus was discovered in 2018 on the walls of a ruined church in southern Israel. Painted in the 6th century AD, it is the earliest known image of Christ found in Israel, portraying him with shorter curly hair, a depiction common to the eastern region of the Byzantine Empire, especially in Egypt and the Syria-Palestine region, but which disappeared from later Byzantine art. The long-haired, bearded image of Jesus that emerged in the 4th century was heavily influenced by representations of Greek and Roman gods, particularly the all-powerful Greek god Zeus. At that point, Jesus started to appear in a long robe, seated on a throne, such as in the 5th century mosaic on the altar of the Santa Pudenziana Church in Rome, sometimes with a halo surrounding his head. The point of these depictions was to emphasize Jesus' divine and kingly status. The Shroud of Turin remains a profound and mysterious artifact that continues to captivate and inspire. Whether viewed as a miraculous relic of Jesus' crucifixion or a historical enigma, it stands as a testament to the enduring power of faith and the profound impact of Jesus' life and death. Stories were never intended to show him as a man, but to make theological points about who Jesus was: Christ, King, Judge, and the Divine Son. Joan Taylor, professor of Christian origins and Second Temple Judaism at King's College London, noted that these depictions have evolved into the standard images of Jesus we recognize today. However, not all images of Jesus conform to the dominant portrayal seen in Western art. Different cultures worldwide have depicted him as one of their own, reflecting the dominant racial identity of each culture. But can we get a more definite clue from science? Let's find out. In 2001, retired medical artist Richard Neve led a team of Israeli and British forensic anthropologists and computer programmers in creating a new image of Jesus. They based this reconstruction on an Israeli skull dating to the 1st century AD, using computer modeling and their knowledge of what Jewish people looked like at the time. While no one claims it is an exact reconstruction of Jesus' appearance, scholars consider this image, depicting a man around 5 feet tall, with darker skin, dark eyes, and shorter, curlier hair, more accurate than many artistic depictions of the Son of God. In her 2018 book, What Did Jesus Look Like?, Taylor used archaeological remains, historical texts, and ancient Egyptian funerary art to conclude that Jesus, like most people in Judea and Egypt of his time, most likely had brown eyes, dark brown to black hair, and olive brown skin. He may have stood about 5 feet 5 inches, 166 centimeters tall, which was the average height for a man at the time. While Cargill agrees that these more recent images of Jesus, including darker, perhaps curlier hair, darker skin, and dark eyes, probably come closer to the truth, he stresses that we can never really know exactly what Jesus looked like. According to him, Jewish Galileans didn't have blue eyes and blonde hair 2,000 years ago. Thus, the question of what Jesus looked like will only be resolved when he returns or we meet him in heaven.
Have you ever pondered the enigmatic allure of ancient prophecies? Delving into the depths of time, we unearth legends and writings that foretell events capable of reshaping the very fabric of our existence. Humanity teeters on the precipice of fate, with cryptic signs and forgotten omens from epochs past hinting at a future fraught with peril and unimaginable marvels. Prepare yourself, for what lies ahead is bound to challenge your perception of reality and send shivers down your spine. Brace for the imminent fulfillment of 10 prophecies that are poised to alter the course of history forever. Stay tuned as we delve into the prophecy that will shock you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content. Number 15. The Last Pope. In the annals of history, the prophecy of Saint Malachi stands as a cryptic testament to the enigmatic visions of the Archbishop of Armagh, who traversed the ancient streets of Rome in the 12th century. Amidst his journeys, whispers of a peculiar revelation began to surface, one that foretold the destiny of future pontiffs through a series of terse Latin phrases. Intriguingly, it wasn't until centuries after Saint Malachi's passing that these prophecies came to light, shrouded in mystery and imbued with an aura of prophetic significance. Among the prophecies, one looms particularly ominous: the prediction of a final pope, bearing the name Peter, whose tenure would herald turmoil within the Roman Church and, some speculate, even signal the apocalyptic denouement of days. Initially relegated to the realm of obscure lore, this prophecy gained newfound relevance with the unprecedented resignation of Pope Benedict XVI, paving the way for the ascension of Pope Francis. With the name Francis chosen for the pontiff, speculation ran rife among prophecy aficionados. Despite Pope Francis's Argentine origins and birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, proponents of the prophecy discerned potential ties to Rome and the prophesied Peter. They pointed to the Pope's Italian heritage, tracing his lineage to Italian immigrants, thus forging a tenuous yet tantalizing link to the Eternal City. Yet, amidst the fervor of conjecture, skepticism persists. Many remain cautious, cognizant of the elusive nature of prophecy and the vagaries of interpretation. Only the relentless march of time holds the key to unraveling the veracity of these age-old prognostications. Patience becomes our ally as we await the unfolding of events, poised on the precipice of revelation, ever vigilant for the emergence of truth from the veils of uncertainty. Number 14. Vladimir Putin takes over the world. Nestled within Bulgaria's Koju Mountains lies a mysterious graveyard steeped in tales of enchantment, its mystique perpetuated by the resting place of a remarkable woman known as Baba Vanga. Despite being blind since childhood, Baba Vanga possessed extraordinary powers as a mystic and seer, leaving an indelible mark on history with her startling predictions. From the collapse of the Soviet Union to the tragic Chernobyl disaster, the sinking of the Russian submarine Kursk, and the harrowing events of September 11, 2001, Baba Vanga's prophetic insights have both astonished and unsettled the world. Her prescient abilities extended beyond geopolitical events, delving into the underlying tensions of North Korea and forewarning of natural disasters and impending conflicts. Rumors of her psychic prowess spread far and wide, with intimates recalling her anticipation of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict and her bold proclamation of Vladimir Putin's ascension to global dominance, envisioning him as an unstoppable force akin to a monarch ruling over a resurgent Russia. Yet, amidst the intrigue surrounding Baba Vanga's prophecies, uncertainty looms over the exact date of Putin's prophesied reign, prompting conjecture among self-proclaimed mystics. While some envisage a swift demise for the Russian leader at the hands of his own people, the veracity of such claims remains shrouded in ambiguity, tethered to the unfolding events of the future. Baba Vanga's legacy is not confined to geopolitical foretelling. She ominously predicted the specter of another global conflict akin to World War II, exacerbated by the proliferation of nuclear weapons. Her chilling prophecy serves as a poignant reminder of humanity's fragile existence, compelling us to redouble our efforts in pursuit of peace and avert the cataclysmic consequences of warfare on a global scale. Despite the gravity of Baba Vanga's predictions, hope endures in the collective human spirit, buoyed by the belief that the trajectory of the future is not immutable. As we grapple with the delicate interplay between fate and free will, Baba Vanga's heritage serves as both a warning and a call to action, spurring us to choose a path of enlightenment and cooperation over the precipice of destruction. Number 13. Necromancy. Decades ago, envisioning a future where communication with the departed, uploading consciousness into computers, and microscopic robots coursing through our veins would have been dismissed as pure science fiction. However, there exists a man who challenges such notions, a visionary named Ray Kurzweil, whose insights have garnered him invitations to Bill Gates' residence on 2 occasions. Kurzweil is not just a man. He's a trailblazer, a futurist, and the eminent lead engineer at Google, whose profound impact on technology spans nearly 4 decades. Among his many innovations, Kurzweil conceived the concept of the flatbed scanner, pioneered the development of the first genuine electric piano, and engineered the inaugural speech recognition software with a vast lexicon. His expertise in artificial intelligence has captivated technophiles worldwide, elevating him to a sought-after speaker commanding fees upwards of $225,000 per event. Kurzweil's prognostications transcend mere speculation. They offer glimpses into a future where the impossible becomes plausible. He envisions a reality where virtual reality serves as a conduit to commune with departed loved ones within the next 3 decades. Such a notion may seem fantastical, but Kurzweil's rationale is rooted in the potential of nanobots, minuscule robots capable of extracting human memories and transferring them onto memory drives. Advanced artificial intelligence algorithms would then replicate these memories, along with the personality, voice, and intellect of the deceased. The lines between reality and simulation blur as we engage with AI replicas of our cherished ones, oblivious to their synthetic nature. What lends credence to Kurzweil's assertions is his remarkable track record. He boasts an accuracy rate of approximately 90% with past predictions, imbuing his forecasts with a sense of credibility. Kurzweil's vision transcends mere technological advancement. It heralds a paradigm shift in our understanding of life, death, and interpersonal relationships. The prospect of conversing with departed loved ones through technological means opens avenues for coping with grief, fostering healing, and perpetuating a sense of continuity amidst loss. In Kurzweil's dreams lies the potential to redefine the very essence of existence, offering solace in the face of mortality and reshaping our perception of the human experience. As we navigate the uncharted territories of tomorrow, Kurzweil's insights serve as beacons guiding humanity toward a future where the boundaries between the tangible and the ethereal dissolve, and the essence of what it means to be alive takes on a new, transcendent form. Number 12. Cannibalism on Earth. In his prophetic visions for 2023, Nostradamus forewarned of a potential breakdown in the global food supply chain, attributing this peril to various catalysts such as pandemics, warfare, or climate upheaval. Intriguingly, his predictions allude to the specter of cannibalism, sparking speculation among scholars of prophecy regarding its possible manifestations. Some interpret Nostradamus's cryptic references as allusions to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Putin's stringent measures to restrict grain exports from the region have precipitated a sharp escalation in food prices, exacerbating the plight of the populace. While reports of cannibalism have yet to surface in Ukraine, the intensification of hostilities could portend darker days ahead. Alternatively, others contend that Nostradamus's prophecies may be pertinent to the Horn of Africa, a region besieged by a protracted drought spanning 4 decades. This ecological crisis, coupled with political instability, has triggered a surge in food prices and left a staggering 3/4 of the population grappling with hunger. With an additional 27 million individuals relying on food aid, the specter of famine looms ominously, potentially culminating in the unthinkable act of cannibalism. Contemplating the prospect of cannibalism evokes profound unease, yet it serves as a stark reminder of the dire consequences that may arise from the convergence of societal upheaval and environmental distress. While these conjectures stem from the enigmatic verses of Nostradamus, they underscore the imperative of vigilance and proactive measures to mitigate the looming humanitarian crises. As we navigate the uncertainties of the future, it is incumbent upon us to heed the lessons of history and cultivate compassion and solidarity in the face of adversity. Number 11. Telepathy and the connection of brains. In the ever-evolving landscape of internet communication, the allure of chat-based interactions continues to captivate users. Despite the burgeoning popularity of text-based exchanges, there remains an inherent preference for verbal dialogue, rooted in the belief that modulation of speech enhances the conveyance of ideas. However, an intriguing forecast posited by British futurist Ian Pearson challenges this notion, inviting us to contemplate a future where communication transcends the confines of spoken language. Before delving into Pearson's bold prediction, it's pertinent to explore his track record of foresight. With an accuracy rate of approximately 85%, Pearson has earned acclaim for his prescient insights, accurately foreseeing the rise of smartwatches and music subscription services decades ago. Yet perhaps his most audacious prognostication emerged 6 years prior when he envisioned a paradigm shift in human interaction propelled by the advent of neurotechnology. According to Pearson's forecast, by the year 2050, advances in neurotechnology will facilitate communication through the power of thought alone. This transformative technology hinges upon the integration of computer chips into our brains, establishing a neural interface with sophisticated cloud-based networks interconnected via quantum computing. Through this neural network, individuals could effortlessly transmit words and thoughts without verbal articulation, effectively harnessing the power of telepathy. The implications of such technology are staggering. Imagine engaging in conversations, acquiring knowledge, and exchanging messages with mere thoughts, unencumbered by the limitations of spoken language. Moreover, the prospect of accessing vast repositories of information and assimilating another individual's skills directly into our minds through a concept Pearson dubs the Hybrid Intelligence Biometric Avatar, HEA, promises to revolutionize human cognition. While Pearson's prophecy may initially sound fantastical, it's imperative to recall the trajectory of technological progress. History abounds with examples of once unthinkable advancements becoming reality, underscoring the plausibility of Pearson's vision. If realized, the establishment of a global network of interconnected minds would herald a profound shift in human interaction, fostering unprecedented levels of connectivity and creativity. However, such a transformative leap forward raises profound ethical and privacy considerations as society grapples with the ethical implications of navigating uncharted territories within the realm of the mind. Yet, amidst the uncertainty, Pearson's forecast ignites a sense of anticipation and apprehension, prompting contemplation of a future where the boundaries between thought and communication blur. Number 10. British Royal Family. In 2022, the passing of Queen Elizabeth II elicited profound sorrow across the United Kingdom, marking the end of an era cherished by many. Curiously, following her demise, sales of the renowned ancient prophet Nostradamus' book surged dramatically, shattering previous records. While initially perplexing to some, a closer examination revealed a striking correlation between Nostradamus' prophecies and the Queen's passing. Centuries prior, Nostradamus had foretold not only the Queen's death but also the ascension of a new monarch, albeit one who would face swift rejection by the populace. Intriguingly, he posited that an unexpected figure, devoid of royal aspirations, would emerge to assume the throne. The prescience of these prophetic verses, penned in the 16th century long before Queen Elizabeth's reign, adds an extra layer of fascination to their uncanny alignment with historical events. Indeed, as foretold, King Charles III, aged 96, succeeded Queen Elizabeth precisely as Nostradamus had envisioned. Yet the plot thickens further as Nostradamus' predictions extend to Prince Harry's unexpected rise to kingship despite his renunciation of any claim to the throne. Prince Harry's current absence from the UK only serves to amplify the intrigue surrounding these prophecies. While Prince William is presently the heir apparent, Nostradamus' enigmatic verses hint at a surprising twist wherein Prince Harry defies expectations and ascends to the throne. The remarkable accuracy of Nostradamus' prognostications throughout history continues to captivate the collective imagination. Despite the temporal chasm separating his writings from contemporary events, they possess an eerie propensity for aligning with pivotal junctures in history. With anticipation mounting, observers eagerly await the unfolding of time, poised to witness whether Nostradamus' prophecy concerning Prince Harry's ascension materializes. Number 9. Designer Babies. Baba Vanga's prophecy regarding designer babies offers a fascinating glimpse into the future of reproductive technology. She envisioned a world where, starting in 2023, babies would be born in laboratories, with doctors exerting complete control over their appearance and behavior. While initially seeming far-fetched, recent developments suggest that such a future may not be as implausible as it appears. On February 19, 2020, a landmark achievement occurred with the birth of the world's first baby from eggs that had been preserved and grown in a lab. French fertility specialists achieved this milestone for a 34-year-old woman, utilizing a method called in vitro maturation to cultivate 7 previously undeveloped eggs extracted from her ovaries 5 years prior. This breakthrough underscored the potential of laboratory-based reproductive techniques. Further bolstering the plausibility of Baba Vanga's prediction, a German biotechnologist embarked on creating a mechanical womb in 2022. Dubbed Echo Life, this facility aims to empower parents with the ability to select specific features for their child from a curated list. Despite ongoing ethical debates surrounding this technology, the hospital behind Echo Life remains committed to facilitating the birth of 30,000 babies annually in the future. The rapid advancements in reproductive technologies signal a paradigm shift in childbirth practices, aligning with Baba Vanga's prophetic vision of designer babies. As science continues to push the boundaries of what is possible, controlling the physical traits and characteristics of offspring within laboratory settings may soon become a reality. However, amidst this progress, it is imperative to reflect on the ethical implications of these advancements. The prospect of manipulating genetic attributes raises complex moral questions that demand careful consideration. Number 8. Cyborgs. In the contemporary world, the enigma of cyborgs has been unraveled, yet delving into the annals of history offers insight into the trajectory of future advancements. Approximately 1 million years ago, Earth was home to diverse human species, among them the Neanderthals, who exhibited remarkable advancement in their quest for sustenance through rudimentary methods. However, around 10,000 years ago, the advent of settled communities marked a pivotal juncture in human evolution, catalyzing the cultivation of agriculture and ushering in an era of scientific progress aimed at addressing health challenges. This transformative shift engendered profound changes in human physiology, with cranial capacity expanding, bodies growing larger, and intelligence flourishing. Today, Homo sapiens stand as the apex of cognitive prowess, their brains outstripping even the most sophisticated computers in processing power. Yet the relentless march of technology heralds the eventual convergence of artificial intelligence with human cognition, paving the way for computers to emulate human thought processes and realize feats once confined to the realm of imagination. What truly ignites excitement, however, is the symbiotic relationship between humans and technology, epitomized by the advent of nanobots, minuscule robotic entities capable of navigating within the human body. Envisioned as harbingers of a new era, these nanobots hold the promise of augmenting our innate capabilities, propelling us towards a future where our physiological boundaries are transcended. The concept of metamorphosing into robo-men underscores the transformative potential of nanotechnology. Already, glimpses of this future emerge through the application of nanobots in fields such as nanomedicine and cancer treatment, hinting at a reality that may be closer than previously imagined. The boundless horizons that lie ahead beckon us to explore uncharted territories, fueled by the prospect of unlocking untold possibilities and venturing into realms previously deemed inconceivable. Number 7. Superconductivity. The concept of superconductivity holds immense promise, heralding a future where transportation and energy transmission undergo transformative change. Envision a world where trains and cars effortlessly hover above the ground, where planes soar through the skies without leaving a trace of pollution, and where energy transfer occurs with unparalleled efficiency. While such a vision may seem straight out of science fiction, many experts believe it will soon become a reality. Superconductors, materials exhibiting zero electrical resistance at extremely low temperatures, lie at the heart of this revolutionary shift. These remarkable substances enable the seamless flow of electricity, devoid of any loss due to resistance, and possess the ability to create formidable barriers against magnetic fields. Since their discovery in 1911, scientists have diligently studied superconductors, striving to unlock the secrets of their operation. While much remains to be understood, significant strides have been made in unraveling the mysteries of superconductivity. In 2022, Klein Vision achieved a major breakthrough with the development of an air car powered by a minimal amount of gasoline. Through rigorous testing, including 200 successful takeoffs and 70 hours of continuous operation, this flying car has brought the vision of widespread aerial transportation closer to reality. However, numerous challenges still loom on the horizon. Scientists and engineers must address these obstacles before fully harnessing the potential of superconductivity. Yet, their unwavering dedication and relentless pursuit of solutions underscore our progress along the right trajectory. As technology advances and our understanding deepens, we edge closer to a future where transportation is more efficient and environmental pollution is significantly reduced. Number 6. There will be no car being owned. Professor Benjamin Clark, hailing from the esteemed University of Oregon, offers a compelling forecast suggesting a paradigm shift in our attitudes towards car ownership within the next 15 years. Grounding his assertions in tangible evidence, Clark points to a significant decline in car sales worldwide, citing Germany as a prime example where sales have plummeted by a staggering 30.5% compared to the previous year. Notable automotive giants like Audi, Porsche, and Volkswagen have felt the repercussions of this downward trend. Looking ahead to 2030, Clark predicts a remarkable 80% reduction in the number of private cars traversing the roads of the United States. This seismic shift signals a departure from traditional modes of personal transportation towards more environmentally sustainable and cost-effective alternatives. Clark envisages a surge in popularity for electric ride-sharing services, projecting that by 2021, utilizing such services will prove to be 4 to 10 times cheaper than purchasing a new car. Families stand to reap substantial savings, with potential annual savings of up to $5,600 by opting for these services over conventional car ownership. Furthermore, Clark anticipates a proliferation of self-driving cars, also known as autonomous vehicles, AVs, which are poised to become increasingly commonplace and affordable. Some companies may even offer free rides in AVs, albeit accompanied by targeted advertising. This vision paints a vivid picture of a future where car ownership wanes in popularity, supplanted by more efficient, economical, and environmentally conscious modes of transportation. Clark's insights into the future of transportation are particularly salient given the current trajectory of declining car sales and the growing prominence of electric ride-sharing services and AV technology. As we contemplate the implications of Clark's prognostications, it becomes clear that the transportation landscape stands on the precipice of a profound transformation. With convenience, affordability, and environmental sustainability at the forefront, the impending shift away from car ownership heralds a new era of mobility, one characterized by innovation and adaptability. Number 5. Unlimited energy. The concept of free energy is a captivating notion that continues to intrigue and inspire contemplation. In our modern era, where reliance on distant celestial bodies like the sun reigns paramount, the prospect of harnessing its boundless energy directly here on Earth tantalizes the imagination. At a staggering distance of 150 million kilometers, the sun stands as a colossal nuclear fusion powerhouse, yet we grapple with the challenge of tapping into its radiant potential. Scientists envisage a future where humanity emulates the sun's energy production through the creation of specialized generators capable of sustaining scorching plasma for extended durations. However, formidable obstacles loom on this path, not least the daunting task of maintaining a robust magnetic field encompassing the plasma. The endeavor necessitates substantial financial investment, yet optimism persists that technological advancements, coupled with robotic assistance, could yield tremendous returns in the form of approximately 500 megawatts of power generated within seconds, all while remaining economically viable. The quest for free energy is far from novel. Indeed, luminaries like Nikola Tesla blazed trails in this arena. Tesla's groundbreaking experiments yielded a device purportedly capable of harnessing energy from the cosmos, a notion that reverberates through contemporary scientific discourse. Today, conjecture abounds regarding the potential of this cosmic energy, with conjecture suggesting that even a fraction of its potency could satiate global energy demands, offering a tantalizing glimpse into a future powered by inexhaustible sources. Yet, amidst the fascination and optimism surrounding free energy, whispers of clandestine progress and covert advancements pervade. Speculation swirls regarding the existence of nations harboring secrets of breakthroughs in free energy technology, fueling conjecture about the veiled motivations underlying such secrecy. If substantiated, these claims prompt introspection, questioning the ethical implications of withholding transformative advancements from the global populace. Nevertheless, the journey toward realizing the promise of free energy remains fraught with uncertainty, its timelines and fruition shrouded in ambiguity. As we navigate the labyrinthine corridors of scientific inquiry, the allure of free energy persists, a beacon of hope symbolizing humanity's relentless pursuit of innovation, discovery, and a brighter tomorrow. While definitive answers elude us, the quest for free energy serves as a testament to the indomitable spirit of exploration that defines our collective journey toward a more enlightened future. Number 4. Solar Tsunami. One of the pivotal prophecies attributed to Baba Vanga pertains to a solar event forecasted for 2024, wherein she foresaw a solar wave wreaking havoc by disrupting Earth's magnetic shield. This cataclysmic event, she warned, would unleash potent atmospheric disturbances akin to the impact of nuclear detonations and subject the planet to the onslaught of solar flares, resulting in widespread blackouts and communication breakdowns. Alarmed by the gravity of Baba Vanga's prediction, scientists have undertaken extensive research to discern the veracity of her prophetic vision. Recent studies have uncovered the presence of a magnetic filament near the sun's equator, teeming with an abundance of magnetic field lines. This discovery has raised concerns that a solar eruption could propel a colossal solar storm towards Earth, triggering an electromagnetic surge capable of disrupting critical systems such as GPS navigation and the power grid. While solar maximum events, occurring approximately every 11 years, have historically posed minimal threats, the escalating reliance on technology renders humanity increasingly vulnerable to their potential impact. Scientists caution that these solar storms could precipitate unprecedented blackouts, imperiling millions of lives. Presently, the precise manifestation of Baba Vanga's prophecy remains uncertain, leaving open the possibility of whether the anticipated solar flares will materialize in proximity to Earth's orbit or pass by harmlessly. Yet, it underscores the imperative of remaining vigilant and prepared for natural calamities of such magnitude as we navigate an era of rapid technological advancement. Ultimately, only time will unveil the veracity of Baba Vanga's prognostication and the extent to which it may reshape the fabric of our world. Number 3. Mars Mission. There existed a renowned French astrologer by the name of Michel de Nostradame, known far and wide as Nostradamus, acclaimed as one of the foremost fortune-tellers of his era. His prophetic insights bore an uncanny accuracy, elevating him to unparalleled fame and admiration. Nostradamus bequeathed to posterity his remarkable tome, Les Prophéties, brimming with a staggering 942 predictions, many of which unfolded into reality following his passing. What set Nostradamus apart was the poetic elegance suffusing his prognostications, imbuing them with a captivating allure that offered tantalizing glimpses into the future. Among his myriad prophecies, one pertaining to the year 2023 stands out. Nostradamus envisioned a celestial spectacle wherein the light of Mars would dim concomitantly with a heavenly conflagration descending upon a grand edifice. Recent conjectures from luminaries such as Elon Musk and organizations like NASA suggest that human habitation on Mars may not materialize until around 2029. This revelation lends credence to Nostradamus's forewarning, underscoring potential perils attendant to pioneering interplanetary ventures. As the epic of 2023 dawns upon us, it heralds a horizon brimming with boundless possibilities. Will this era be defined by epochal triumphs or shadowed by imminent dangers? Only the inexorable march of time holds the key to unraveling the enigma concealed within its veiled embrace. Number 2. The Cure for Cancer. In 2021, the renowned scientist Michio Kaku delved into the ongoing battle against cancer, expressing optimism for the future despite the absence of definitive cures for afflictions such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and certain types of cancer. Kaku introduced a groundbreaking approach to combating cancer known as magic bullets, leveraging the capabilities of nanomedicine. This innovative technique harnesses minute chemical agents within our cells to selectively target cancerous cells, capitalizing on the remarkable advancements in nanotechnology. Of particular intrigue is Kaku's proposition that our lavatories could serve as an initial line of defense against cancer. The notion that bodily fluids may harbor subtle indicators of incipient cancerous growths, detectable even years before they manifest as tumors, prompts contemplation. Despite the latency period of up to a decade before these nascent malignancies become apparent, Kaku envisions a future wherein DNA chips, capable of identifying early-stage cancer markers, could facilitate discovery right within the confines of the bathroom. Imagine a scenario where your toilet acts as an early warning system, alerting you to the presence of cancerous cells in your body, affording a substantial 10-year window for intervention. Such a paradigm shift could potentially obviate the need for the term tumor in the lexicon, as proactive detection could preempt the onset of malignancies. Indeed, future generations may marvel at the erstwhile apprehension surrounding cancer, viewing it akin to a commonplace ailment like the common cold. Thus, the advent of nanotechnology promises not only to revolutionize cancer treatment, but also to transmute our mundane commodes into vigilant custodians of health, furnishing crucial early indicators and invaluable time in the struggle against this formidable malady. Number 1. Robotic Machine. In today's digital age, the allure of online shopping platforms like Amazon and eBay has reshaped the retail landscape, blurring the distinction between virtual and physical storefronts. While the convenience of online shopping is undeniable, there remains a cohort of individuals who derive satisfaction from the tactile experience of in-person shopping, citing benefits such as cost savings and the ability to inspect goods firsthand. However, it is the prospect of the future that truly captivates the imagination. Bold predictions suggest that the era may dawn where venturing outside to procure essentials becomes obsolete, replaced instead by the arrival of delivery drones directly to our doorsteps. The groundwork for this revolution was laid in 2006 when the US government passed legislation permitting civilian ownership of drones, unleashing their potential for commercial applications. The pivotal year of 2016 marked a milestone in the evolution of drone technology as Amazon unveiled Prime Air, heralding the advent of the world's first delivery drone. Prime Air showcases its prowess by swiftly and efficiently dispatching packages, often fulfilling orders in under 30 minutes. Yet this is merely the tip of the iceberg, as advancements in technology promise to further revolutionize the retail landscape in the years ahead. As technology continues to advance, the boundaries of possibility expand exponentially. In the not-too-distant future, robots may not only redefine the parameters of economic feasibility, but also find themselves embroiled in legal battles over their rights and responsibilities. What may sound like the premise of a science fiction narrative is, in fact, a tantalizing glimpse into a future that looms closer than many realize. As we bid adieu, let us carry with us the lessons gleaned from the secrets of fate, mindful of the profound wisdom embedded within the annals of prophecy. For in the ceaseless ebb and flow of time, it is the enduring quest for understanding that illuminates our journey, casting light upon the shadows of uncertainty. Until we meet again, may the echoes of prophecy continue to stir our imagination, inspiring us to chart a course towards a future imbued with hope, resilience, and boundless possibility. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and subscribe. Your support will be our motivation. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell to update the latest video from our channel. Hope to see you in the next videos. Goodbye and God bless you.
With tools in hand and determination in their hearts, these intrepid experts delved deep into the earth, carving through layers of stone to reveal a hidden chamber filled with the echoes of ages past. As the dust settled and the debris was cleared, the hallowed crypt was unveiled before a breathless crowd. Their hearts fluttered with anticipation as the veil of time was lifted and the secrets of antiquity were laid bare for all to see. Among the first to gaze upon this sacred site were representatives from the Roman Catholic, Armenian, and Greek Orthodox churches, their eyes alight with wonder and reverence. Led by the esteemed National Geographic archaeologist Frederick Hebert, this gathering bore witness to a moment of unparalleled significance. For centuries, the tomb of Jesus had remained sealed, a silent sentinel guarding its precious cargo from the ravages of time. But today, as the excavation unfolded, a new chapter in history was written, revealing the truth behind this legendary site. Spearheaded by the skilled hands of scientists from the National Technical University of Athens, this ambitious project sought to restore the ancient edicule that cradles the sacred tomb. Yet the journey did not end there. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre stands as a testament to the enduring legacy of faith and devotion. Through the ebb and flow of centuries, this sacred site has weathered the storms of time, emerging as a beacon of hope in a world fraught with uncertainty. As we stand on the threshold of discovery, let us heed the call of history and embrace the truth that lies within. In the hallowed halls of biblical archaeology, the quest for knowledge knows no bounds, as we strive to uncover the mysteries of the past and illuminate the path to a brighter future. Near the site where the crucifixion of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is believed to have taken place, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre beckons pilgrims from all corners of the globe to pay homage to this holiest of destinations. Traversing the winding streets of Jerusalem, we encounter a tapestry of religious monuments, each bearing witness to the rich tapestry of faith that weaves through its cobblestone lanes. Among them stand the illustrious Dome of the Rock and the revered Wailing Wall, testaments to the enduring legacy of devotion that defines this sacred land. Within the walls of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, Christians, Jews, and Muslims alike converge in search of solace and spiritual renewal. It is here, in the shadow of Golgotha, the place of the skull, that the pivotal events of our salvation unfolded. According to sacred texts, it was upon this hallowed ground that our Savior, Jesus Christ, laid down his life for the redemption of mankind. After his crucifixion, his body was tenderly laid to rest within a nearby tomb, its entrance sealed by a heavy stone. But on the third day, the miracle of miracles transpired as Jesus rose from the dead, a triumphant testament to the power of divine grace. Emerging from the confines of the tomb, he appeared to his apostles, charging them with a sacred mission to spread the good news of spiritual redemption to all corners of the earth. In this task, they were joined by Joseph of Arimathea, a figure shrouded in mystery and reverence. Some say he was a kinsman of our Lord, while others speak of his unwavering devotion to the Christian cause, a devotion that ultimately led to his persecution at the hands of the authorities. Yet it was Joseph who bore the solemn duty of laying Jesus' body to rest within his family tomb, a cavernous chamber hewn from the rock itself. With tender hands, he swathed the Savior's body in linen and placed it upon a burial shelf, sealing the entrance with a heavy stone. As we stand in awe of this sacred site, let us remember the timeless message of hope and redemption that echoes through the ages. In the quiet confines of this humble tomb, we find the promise of eternal life and the enduring power of faith. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, with its rich history and profound spiritual significance, continues to inspire millions, reminding us of the enduring legacy of Jesus Christ and the transformative power of his resurrection. The excavation and restoration efforts at this holy site serve not only to preserve its physical structure, but also to deepen our understanding of its historical and spiritual significance. As we uncover the layers of the past, we gain insight into the profound events that shaped the course of human history. This sacred tomb, now revealed and restored, stands as a testament to the enduring faith of those who have walked these ancient streets before us, and to the hope that continues to inspire future generations.
An Israeli archaeologist says he found the legendary citadel captured by King David. Archaeologist Eli Shukran found the citadel in East Jerusalem.
When Eilat Mazar realized she discovered an ancient structure near Jerusalem, she turned to the Bible to help explain what she found.
And she learned that this new discovery supports the biblical accounts of King David and his son Solomon.
King Solomon is an intriguing figure because the Bible makes so many claims about him, controlling vast amounts of territory.
King Solomon, renowned for his unparalleled wisdom and the majestic temple that once graced Jerusalem's skyline, left a legacy that echoes through the ages. Today, we embark on a breathtaking journey that has captivated scholars worldwide. A team of Israeli archaeologists has recently unearthed the long-lost tomb of this legendary king. The secrets King Solomon took to his grave and uncovered the astonishing artifacts hidden within its hallowed chambers. We are Jesus' eternal aura. In today's video, you will have appropriate answers to all the questions above. Before you know what happened, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and click the bell icon for all the latest updates.
David built himself a magnificent palace here in his new capital, Jerusalem.
Archaeologists have opened King Solomon's tomb after 3,000 years, and what they found inside shocked the world. This historic discovery, the long-lost tomb of King Solomon, the legendary biblical figure celebrated for his immense wealth and wisdom, has been a subject of debate for decades. Many skeptics claimed the tomb was nothing but a myth since no one had successfully found it. However, fate had other plans. A team of scientists and archaeologists, led by Dr. Eilat Mazar from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, made an astonishing discovery. They found the location of Solomon's tomb in the city of David. To solidify the credibility of this discovery, it is worth noting that this wasn't Dr. Mazar's first archaeological find. In 1986, she made a monumental discovery, a large gatehouse located about 150 meters north of the city of David in the Ophel area. At that time, Dr. Mazar didn't have enough evidence to attribute the gatehouse to King Solomon and refrained from making such claims. In 2009, Dr. Mazar resumed her excavations at the Ophel site. Everywhere she dug, layers from the First Temple period were uncovered, revealing a treasure trove of historical insights. With these discoveries, she revisited the dating of the gatehouse, and the fresh evidence led her to conclude that the gatehouse likely dated back to the 10th century BC, during the reign of King Solomon. Why should we trust Dr. Mazar's findings? Dr. Mazar was a brilliant scientist who placed immense value on the scientific method. One of her favorite sayings was, "We must let the stones speak." American lawyer Herschel Shanks, in a 2007 article for Biblical Archaeology Review, emphasized her expertise, stating that no one would question her professional competence as an archaeologist. Dr. Mazar was often seen as a biblical scientist, skillfully blending biblical narratives with her scientific research. Unlike many of her contemporaries, she had no reservations about integrating the Bible into her work. This approach set her apart in a field where science and religion often seem at odds. Among the many artifacts found at the site were over 30 bully, ancient clay seals. One of these particularly captivated Dr. Mazar. Her excitement and dedication to her work were evident, contrasting with the typical skepticism towards combining science and religion. Her profound expertise in archaeology played a crucial role in this significant discovery. What makes this discovery even more astonishing is that the team wasn't even looking for Solomon's tomb. Instead, they were searching for something much larger. Mazar and her team were excavating the oldest part of Jerusalem, hoping to find King David's palace. During their work, they uncovered a massive wall segment about 210 feet long, known in Arabic as the Cave of the Kings. What is this place? What is its purpose? Who built it and why? The archaeologists were eager to find out. The segment they uncovered included a gatehouse, a corner tower, and a royal structure. The archaeologists were stunned by the wall's size, suspecting it might be part of an even grander building, like a temple or palace. They were thrilled at the possibility that this structure was connected to King Solomon's reign. Radiocarbon dating indicated that the site was from the period when King Solomon ruled. Dr. Mazar noted that this was the first time they had found a structure from that era that could match the descriptions of King Solomon's buildings in Jerusalem. But could this have been built by another king and not Solomon? Dr. Mazar explained that there weren't many kings from the 10th century who could have built such a structure. Essentially, it could only have been David or Solomon. According to the Bible, King David, known for his battle with Goliath, was the father of King Solomon, who is credited with constructing the first temple of Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. Ceramics discovered near the wall helped date the structure to the second half of the 10th century BC, which was the era of King Solomon. Near the gatehouse, they found large earthen and water storage vessels, one of which bore a Hebrew inscription indicating it belonged to a high-ranking government official. Other finds included figurines typical of 10th century BC Jerusalem, such as four-legged animals and large-breasted women, likely symbolizing fertility. Moreover, archaeologists found jar handles with inscriptions mentioning the king and various Hebrew names. This makes the discovery even more fascinating and important. The historical and archaeological value of these finds cannot be overstated, as they provide a deeper understanding of the period and its people. For archaeologists, uncovering King Solomon's tomb has long been a monumental goal. The recent discovery of a wall segment in Jerusalem's ancient Ophel area marks a historic breakthrough. Ophel, one of the city's oldest districts, is believed to have been the site of King David's palace. This finding adds fresh layers to our understanding of the region's past, connecting it firmly to biblical narratives that mention King Solomon, the illustrious ruler of ancient Israel, being laid to rest in the city of David. This discovery carries profound implications, as it supports the biblical portrayal of Solomon as a powerful king overseeing a significant kingdom, challenging previous views that diminished his role to that of a minor tribal leader.
Now, all over the place, we have Iron Age, like First Temple period, floor layers, you can see.
After King David, King Solomon's father, established his capital in the oldest part of Jerusalem, the area south of the present-day Old City became historically significant. This location, often referred to as the City of David, is believed to be where King David first captured Jerusalem from the Jebusites. Extensive archaeological excavations in this region have unearthed numerous ancient structures and artifacts that provide insights into the early history of Jerusalem. The City of David, also known as W. Hillway, is an archaeological site considered the original nucleus of ancient Jerusalem during the Bronze and Iron Ages. It is situated on the southern part of Jerusalem's eastern ridge, between the Kidron Valley to the west and the Tyropoeon Valley to the east, south of the Temple Mount. The site features remnants dating back to the Middle Bronze Age, including defensive structures around the Gihon Spring. Notable discoveries include large stone buildings and stepstone formations from the Iron Age, sparking scholarly debates about their possible connection to King David or a later era. One of the remarkable discoveries in the City of David is the Siloam Tunnel, also known as Hezekiah's Tunnel. This ancient engineering marvel was constructed to bring water into the city, showcasing the advanced skills of Jerusalem's ancient inhabitants. Originally attributed to Hezekiah, recent excavations suggest it may be even older. Alongside this tunnel, archaeologists have unearthed Roman-era remains, such as the Pool of Siloam and the Strauss Street. Today, these excavated areas are part of the Jerusalem Walls National Park, managed by the Israel Nature and Parks Authority, and operated by the Ir David Foundation. Situated in W. Hillway, an extension of the Palestinian neighborhood of Silwan in East Jerusalem, adjacent to an Israeli settlement, this park is a significant archaeological site. Another significant discovery is a large stone structure believed by some to be the remains of King David's palace. If this massive building is indeed connected to David and Solomon, it underscores the City of David's historical importance as a center of power and administration during their reigns. Despite recent groundbreaking discoveries and significant artifacts found, previous archaeologists struggled to definitively locate any royal tombs belonging to Solomon or his successors. There are several reasons why the tombs of ancient Israelite rulers, such as Solomon, have not been found. One possible reason is that the City of David is vast, and not all parts have been thoroughly excavated in previous efforts. Another possibility is that over the centuries of Jerusalem's turbulent history, including wars and invasions, these tombs may have been destroyed or severely damaged. As a result, ancient structures could have been buried beneath later constructions. However, these challenges did not deter archaeologists from pursuing the search for these royal tombs. They recognized the profound significance such discoveries would have in shedding light on the rulers of ancient Israel and their burial practices. Uncovering these tombs would offer critical insights into that era's governance and cultural customs, enriching our understanding of ancient Israelite society. Nevertheless, the discoveries made within the City of David have been invaluable. They have allowed archaeologists and scientists to piece together the history of Jerusalem and the daily lives of its inhabitants during the United Monarchy period. Each new find has expanded our knowledge and provided clarity about the past, offering glimpses into the rich tapestry of ancient Israelite civilization. The mysteries of Solomon's tomb have long intrigued scholars and enthusiasts alike. Before Dr. Eilat Mazar's groundbreaking discovery, numerous speculations swirled about where Solomon's tomb might lie. Some speculated that it rested beneath the Temple Mount, a site revered by Judaism, Christianity, and Islam alike. Known as Haram al-Sharif in Islam, This noble sanctuary is where Prophet Muhammad's celestial night journey, mounted on a winged horse, is believed to have occurred, an event commemorated by the Dome of the Rock, an architectural marvel of Islam. Over the centuries, the Temple Mount has been contested terrain, seized and ruled by diverse peoples, including the Jebusites, Israelites, Babylonians, Greeks, Persians, Romans, Byzantines, early Muslims, Crusaders, Mamluks, Ottomans, and the British. Spanning just 35 acres, it has witnessed more historical turning points than perhaps any other site globally. Yet archaeologists faced significant hurdles in uncovering its buried secrets, as the Waqf, the Islamic trust in charge of overseeing Muslim holy sites on the Temple Mount, historically barred extensive archaeological digs, citing religious sanctity and resisting what it viewed as sacrilege. Despite sporadic surveys by adventurous Europeans in the late 19th century and limited excavations by the British during the renovation of the Al-Aqsa Mosque in the early 20th century, the depths beneath the Temple Mount remained largely unexplored. This limited exploration meant that even if Solomon's tomb lay concealed there, finding it remained a formidable challenge. Without systematic investigation, the notion of hidden chambers beneath the Temple Mount, while intriguing, remained speculative due to the absence of conclusive evidence. Ancient texts and traditions hint at royal burials near or around the Temple Mount, with stories suggesting that kings like Solomon were possibly interred close to this sacred precinct. The connection to Solomon's temple, the epicenter of Israelite worship built under King Solomon's guidance, further fueled beliefs that his final resting place might be close to this revered structure. Additionally, some ancient texts allude to hidden chambers and secret passages beneath the revered Temple Mount, suggesting the existence of rooms or tunnels where significant artifacts, possibly including royal tombs, might have been concealed. Unfortunately, the inability to explore these areas makes it challenging to substantiate these intriguing tales. Archaeologists have conducted meticulous investigations around the Temple Mount, but have yet to unearth definitive evidence of Solomon's tomb. These efforts are carefully executed to preserve the site's integrity and historical significance. While these excavations have yielded fascinating artifacts and structures, the mystery of Solomon's final resting place remains.
The city of David has been the most excavated site in Israel over the past 150 years. Here you can see the remains of King David's palace.
The question of Solomon's tomb has intrigued historians, archaeologists, and religious enthusiasts for centuries. The mystery remains unresolved, with various theories suggesting different possible locations for the final resting place of this legendary king. One popular theory speculates that Solomon's tomb lies within the Temple Mount, a site of profound significance for archaeology and history. The discovery of Solomon's tomb there would be monumental, yet the quest for this tomb extends beyond the Temple Mount. Mount Zion has also been proposed as a possible site for Solomon's tomb. Traditionally associated with the city of David, this belief originates from a historical misunderstanding. King David's actual burial site lies in the southeastern part of Jerusalem's Old City, in an area known as the City of David. Early 20th century excavations by French archaeologist Raymond Weil uncovered structures believed to be royal tombs in this area. Today, it is widely accepted that David was buried in the City of David, south of the Temple Mount, debunking the notion that Solomon's tomb might be on Mount Zion. According to some accounts, there is a belief that Solomon's body was taken to Ethiopia and buried in a hidden place. This idea is supported by long-standing Ethiopian traditions, which claim to possess relics connected to Solomon, including his crown and throne. Another theory proposes that Solomon's body may not have been buried at all, but could have been cremated or otherwise destroyed. This theory arises from the lack of clear evidence or archaeological discoveries definitively identifying the location of Solomon's tomb. The mystery surrounding Solomon's ultimate resting place remains a captivating topic for scholars, historians, and archaeologists, continuing to be shrouded in uncertainty and intrigue. Deep beneath the bustling streets of Jerusalem's old city lies a hidden world of mystery and legend known as Zedekiah's Cave. Also called Solomon's Quarries, this enormous limestone quarry has fascinated scholars, adventurers, and curious visitors for centuries. Legend has it that this vast underground chamber, stretching over 5 city blocks, served as a hiding place for King Zedekiah, a Judean ruler from the 6th century BCE, during the siege of Jerusalem. According to the biblical commentator Shlomo Yaki, affectionately known as Rashi, King Zedekiah sought refuge in the cave as the Babylonian army advanced. Rashi describes a thrilling tale of Zedekiah's escape, where God sent a deer running above ground to guide the pursuing soldiers to the cave's exit just as Zedekiah emerged, allowing them to capture and blind him. This chilling story adds to the cave's allure. Zedekiah's cave has also sparked interest due to its connection to the Freemasons. The Freemasons consider Zedekiah's cave a sacred site, believing it to have been a meeting place for the Knights Templar. They think the cave holds secret symbols and codes hinting at hidden knowledge. However, there is no solid evidence to support this theory. Today, Zedekiah's cave is a popular tourist attraction, with guided tours taking visitors through its vast halls and narrow passages. Modern renovations and an audio-visual show enhance the experience, allowing visitors to imagine the cave's busy past. It was once a quarry for the materials used in constructing King Solomon's first temple and other grand buildings that adorned the city. Before the recent discoveries, various theories about the location of Solomon's tomb circulated among archaeologists, scientists, and scholars. Some suggested Mount Zion, a hill in Jerusalem linked with the city of David, as a possible site for the royal tombs of the Davidic dynasty, including Solomon. However, this idea stemmed from a misunderstanding. The widely accepted belief that King David is buried on Mount Zion is not accurate. In reality, King David's burial place lies in the southeastern part of Jerusalem's Old City, south of the Temple Mount, in an area known today as Ir David, or the City of David. According to 1 Kings 2:10 in the Bible, King David died and was laid to rest in the City of David. The text also notes David's reign over Israel for 40 years, encompassing 7 years in Hebron and 33 years in Jerusalem. Following David's passing, Solomon succeeded his father on the throne and established his rule. Despite this, Zion historically refers to ancient Jerusalem. During the Middle Ages, Byzantine pilgrims mistakenly identified the hill south of today's Old City's Armenian Quarter as part of ancient Jerusalem and named it Mount Zion. The city David conquered was situated on a lower hill to the south of the Temple Mount. This hill was originally the Jebusite city, which became King David's capital and encompassed the entirety of Jerusalem for more than 200 years. Over time, the city expanded westward to include what is now known as Mount Zion. The mistaken belief that King David was buried on Mount Zion persisted for centuries. During the 2nd century CE, Jerusalem suffered destruction, Jews were exiled, and knowledge of King David's actual tomb location faded. The Bible offers an initial clue, stating that King David, along with his son Solomon and subsequent kings of Judah for the next 150 years, were interred in Ir David, likely a part of today's City of David. In 1913, French archaeologist Raymond Weil excavated what he thought could be tombs in Jerusalem's City of David, potentially the royal burial place of the earliest Old Testament kings. Some scholars disputed Weil's findings, but archaeologist Jeffrey Zorn's analysis suggests Weil might have been correct. Despite the long-standing belief, dating back to the 1st century CE historian Josephus, that King David's tomb lay on Mount Zion, Earlier biblical references point to David and other kings of that era being buried near the southern reaches of the city of David in ancient Jerusalem. Jeff Zorn posits that 2 quarry tunnels in the city of David might have once housed the remains of ancient Jerusalem's earliest Old Testament kings. In the 19th century, diplomat Charles Clermont-Ganneau proposed that the curved path of Hezekiah's tunnel towards its southern end was designed to avoid these royal tombs. The debate over the exact location of Solomon's tomb continues, adding to the intrigue and mystery that surrounds the legacy of this ancient king.
As a rare and exciting discovery by the Israel Antiquities Authority and Tel Aviv University is announced. A 2,600-year-old bulla, or seal impression, has just been unearthed at the Givati Lot excavations in the City of David National Park in Jerusalem.
Designed to avoid disturbing the burial grounds of these ancient kings, Raymond W. oversaw excavations on Baron Rothschild's City of David property starting in 1913, continuing through 1914, and again from 1923 to 1924. Despite later quarrying that disturbed the area, he uncovered ancient walls, ritual pools, cisterns, and a circular tower now thought to be a columbarium. Most significantly, he identified 9 rock-cut features as tombs, interpreting the most prominent ones, labeled T1 and T3, as part of the royal necropolis of the Old Testament kings of ancient Jerusalem. After hearing all these fascinating theories, some people think Solomon's tomb was purposefully hidden to keep it safe from thieves and invaders. This was a common practice for royal burials in ancient times. Some theories even suggest that Solomon's tomb could be in a more secretive spot, perhaps outside the traditional city of David due to political or religious issues during chaotic periods. For example, there's the legendary Seal of Solomon, also called the Ring of Solomon. According to medieval mystical traditions, this famous ring is said to have belonged to King Solomon. It's often shown as a pentagram or hexagram, and is believed to have given Solomon the power to control supernatural beings and talk to animals. The earliest mentions of Solomon's seal come from Jewish traditions. The 1st century Jewish historian Josephus first mentioned it, and it's also referenced in the 3rd century Jewish magical text Sefer Harazim and in a section of the tractate Gittin within the Babylonian Talmud. Now, the tomb of the kings in Jerusalem is finally open to the public. Medieval Europeans thought this site held the burials of King David and King Solomon. Although this theory has been proven wrong, the name still sticks. The tombs were originally built in the 1st century CE and were reused for many years. French archaeologist Louis Félicien de Saulcy was the first to excavate the site in 1863. He aimed to confirm that these tombs belonged to David and Solomon. This dig is considered by some to be the first modern archaeological excavation in Jerusalem. During his work, de Saulcy found several coffins. One of these coffins, now in the Louvre Museum in Paris, has 2 lines of Aramaic inscribed on it, reading Sadan the Queen and Sada the Queen. This rich history, filled with legends and discoveries, makes the story of Solomon's tomb a captivating tale. In the dimly lit chamber, draped in shadows of antiquity, King Solomon's regal remains lay undisturbed for millennia. Dr. Jonathan Hayes, a renowned archaeologist, examined the corpse, his breath misting in the ancient air. As Hayes and his team gazed upon the artifacts, and King Solomon's tomb opened after 3,000 years, what they found inside shocked the world. The king's crown, adorned with sapphires that shimmered faintly even after centuries, rested atop his weathered skull. Hayes carefully brushed away dust, revealing intricate carvings depicting Solomon's legendary wisdom and victories. As the archaeologist examined the royal scepter, a whisper of awe filled the tomb. The walls, lined with scrolls thought to have been lost to time, told tales of alliances and conquests that reshaped ancient lands. One scroll, remarkably preserved, bore Solomon's own musings on justice and governance, written in a script both elegant and enigmatic. Hayes's heart raced with the weight of history unfolding before him. Could these artifacts rewrite our understanding of Solomon's reign? Each artifact, from golden items to ancient coins, held clues to an era steeped in mystery and power. The discovery promised to reveal more than just Solomon's legacy, shedding light on the complex history of long-lost ancient kingdoms. As Hayes pondered the implications, a question echoed in his mind. What other secrets lie buried beneath the sands of time, waiting to be unearthed? In addition to theories and speculations, certain artifacts discovered in the city of David offer intriguing hints about the possible location of King Solomon's tomb. Among these artifacts are bullae and seals inscribed with names from biblical times, dating back to Solomon's era. These discoveries provide captivating clues that point towards where his burial place might be. A bulla is a small token made of clay or soft metal, historically used for authentication and to ensure documents could not be tampered with during ancient times. From 8000 to 7500 BCE, farmers in Sumer used small clay tokens to keep track of their animals and goods. As time passed, they found it more useful to mark these tokens on clay tablets, which eventually led to the creation of cuneiform writing around 3100 BCE. The earliest tokens were discovered in the Zagros region of Iran, and later on, similar seals made of metal were called bullae. Most of these seals were made of lead, although some were even crafted from gold, as seen in seals used by Byzantine and Holy Roman emperors, as well as other monarchs during the Middle Ages. In recent archaeological discoveries, a team excavating a small site in Israel uncovered 6 official clay seals. The unearthed artifacts indicate that this region was not just a remote outpost, but a central hub of governance and trade. The intricate carvings found on these relics suggest a sophisticated society with highly skilled craftsmen and advanced artistic techniques. The discovery of royal seals and official documents further implies a well-organized bureaucracy that efficiently managed the kingdom's affairs. If King Solomon's tomb is indeed discovered, it would not only confirm the accounts in biblical texts, but also illuminate the splendor and authority of the ancient Israelite monarchy. The archaeological significance of such a find cannot be overstated, as it would provide invaluable insights into the history and culture of ancient Israel. Unveiling the tomb of King Solomon could offer invaluable insights into the political, social, and religious dynamics of his era. Historians and scholars from around the globe would undoubtedly flock to the site, eager to study and analyze these discoveries, hoping to uncover more secrets from the past. Nevertheless, the quest to locate King Solomon's tomb faces numerous challenges. The rugged terrain and ongoing political instability in the region present significant obstacles to archaeological exploration. Local conflicts and territorial disputes may further complicate the process, hindering researchers from conducting thorough investigations. Moreover, the sheer scale of the task, searching for a single tomb in a vast and ancient landscape, requires meticulous planning and precision to ensure success. Despite these challenges and the passage of time, the quest to uncover Solomon's tomb continues to fascinate those intrigued by Jerusalem's rich history. From the Tomb of the Kings, once a place of royal burials, to the discoveries of artifacts and seals within the city of David, the search for the legendary ruler's final resting place remains an enduring fascination. Recent archaeological findings within the sacred grounds of the city of David have caused a stir among scholars. These small yet significant artifacts, such as historic seals and clay impressions, bear the names of biblical kings long considered mythical. They have revitalized the study of ancient Israelite history, challenging long-standing doubts about the historical accuracy of biblical accounts. Solomon's legacy, whether fact or fiction, continues to be a topic of great debate. Despite the remarkable discoveries, controversies persist regarding the existence of figures such as David and Solomon. For example, excavators assert they have unearthed Solomon's stables at Megiddo, a site linked to the biblical narrative of Armageddon. According to the Bible, Megiddo and 2 other cities housed horses and chariots for Solomon's legendary cavalry. However, further excavations yielded no horse bones or clear evidence of such stables, casting doubt on these claims. In parallel searches, researchers have sought Solomon's renowned mines, which were crucial for procuring materials to build the first temple. Many attempts have yielded little, yet a 2017 study identified extensive ancient copper mining in nearby Jordan, dating to a period aligning with Solomon's reign. If Israel controlled this area, it could have been a vital source of minerals and wealth, supporting the grandeur attributed to Solomon's kingdom. Beyond archaeological endeavors, biblical historians have scrutinized traditional accounts of Solomon. The texts include extraordinary claims, such as Solomon having 700 wives and 300 concubines over his lifetime, a number that stretches reality. One of these wives was purportedly the pharaoh's daughter, yet Egyptian records do not confirm such a union. Scholars suggest Egyptian pharaohs were cautious about marrying off their daughters, fearing political repercussions. One of the most questionable assertions, according to critics, is that Solomon possessed an impressive 1,400 chariots, implying a military force capable of competing with other major civilizations. Despite the absence of tangible evidence for Solomon's stables, an inscription commemorating a military victory, and references in the Bible assert that the Egyptian pharaoh Shishak invaded Israel, ransacked Jerusalem, and plundered all the treasures from the first temple just 5 years after Solomon's death. The rapidity of this conquest suggests an effortless triumph, raising doubts about the true military prowess of the ancient Israeli kingdom during that era. Such grandiose claims have led some scholars of biblical history to propose that the legendary strength attributed to Solomon was possibly exaggerated by historians many centuries later, aiming to elevate their civilization to the stature of other renowned kingdoms. The discovery of Solomon's tomb could significantly reshape our understanding of ancient history and biblical narratives, potentially providing concrete evidence to support or refute these long-standing stories. The potential of uncovering Solomon's tomb lies not just in the physical artifacts, but also in the broader historical context it would provide. If found, the tomb could contain inscriptions, relics, and other materials that would offer a more nuanced view of Solomon's reign, his kingdom's extent, and its interactions with neighboring cultures. Such a discovery could also shed light on the daily lives, religious practices, and political structures of the time, offering a richer and more detailed picture of the era. Furthermore, the search for Solomon's tomb is emblematic of the broader quest to understand the roots of modern civilization. Jerusalem, a city with a layered history of conquests, exiles, and cultural exchanges, serves as a focal point for these investigations. The Tomb of the Kings, for instance, is not just a burial site, but a symbol of the continuity and change that have characterized the region for millennia. Recent archaeological efforts have unearthed significant findings in the city of David, including artifacts that challenge previous assumptions about the historicity of biblical narratives. These discoveries, while small, carry immense implications. For example, seals bearing the names of biblical figures suggest a degree of historical accuracy that was previously questioned by some scholars. These findings have reignited interest in the historical basis of the Bible, prompting a re-evaluation of long-held beliefs about the ancient world. In summary, the quest to locate King Solomon's tomb is fraught with challenges, but remains a tantalizing prospect for historians and archaeologists. The discovery of the tomb could transform our understanding of ancient Israelite history, providing new insights into the political, social, and religious dynamics of the era. It could also validate or challenge existing biblical narratives, offering a more comprehensive view of one of history's most enigmatic figures. As researchers continue their search, the story of Solomon's tomb serves as a reminder of the enduring allure of uncovering the past and the ever-present possibility of rewriting history with each new discovery.
There's been an upsurge of interest recently in the visions of Fatima. What we understand about those visions makes a significant difference of whether in the end time, in these last days, we'll be deceived or not.
Can people really see the future? Receive messages from across time and space? For centuries, seers and prophets have come forward, offering dramatic visions of mankind.
Welcome to today's video, where we delve into one of the most chilling mysteries of the Church, the third secret of Fatima. Locked away in the depths of the Vatican archives, this enigmatic secret has remained shrouded in mystery for decades. Despite the curiosity and speculation surrounding it, 3 popes have opted to keep it concealed, raising questions about its potential impact on humanity. Join me as we uncover the truth behind this elusive secret and explore why the Vatican has hesitated to unveil it to the world. Prepare to be astonished as we unravel the shocking revelation linking the third secret of Fatima to the assassination attempt on John Paul II. Is this merely the tip of the iceberg, signaling a chain of ominous events to come? Join us in this video as we uncover the harrowing influence of the third secret of Fatima and its potential implications for humanity. The third secret of Fatima. We're diving deep into the mysteries surrounding the third secret of Fatima. Now, for those unfamiliar, Fatima is a small town in Portugal where, in 1917, 3 young shepherd children claimed to have witnessed apparitions of the Virgin Mary. It's a tale that's captivated millions, and within it lies a message that some believe foretells the future. The third secret, shrouded in secrecy for decades, has sparked millennial fears and fueled endless speculation. But let's start from the beginning. During these apparitions, Mary, the mother of Jesus, appeared to these children 6 times, urging them to pray the rosary daily and to devote themselves to her immaculate heart. However, it was during the final sighting that she shared what's become known as the third secret. Fast forward to October 13th, 1917, a day that would go down in history as the miracle of the sun. Throngs of the faithful gathered in Fatima, reporting an extraordinary event, the sun dancing in the sky. This phenomenon added an otherworldly dimension to the already profound experiences of the shepherd children. One of these children, Lucia, later became a Carmelite nun and, in 1942, revealed the first 2 parts of the secret in her memoirs. The first part was a harrowing vision of hell that deeply shook the children. Since then, they've fervently prayed for the conversion of sinners. The second part was prophetic, with Mary warning of the onset of World War II and the expansion of communism, leading to the persecution of the Church and the Pope. To avert these calamities, Mary urged devotion to her Immaculate Heart and the consecration of Russia. Now, here's where it gets really intriguing. Lucia, under orders from the local bishop, wrote down the third secret, but hesitated to share it. It remained sealed until 2000, when it was finally disclosed during the beatification of Francisco and Jacinta Marto, the other 2 shepherd children. In her writings, Lucia describes a vision of an angel holding a flaming sword, symbolizing impending judgment. The angel's cry for penance echoes throughout the ages, a call to repentance and spiritual renewal. But the most chilling aspect of the third secret is its depiction of a bishop dressed in white, presumed to be the Pope, being martyred. This imagery has been interpreted in various ways, with many seeing parallels to the assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II's life in 1981. The vision unfolds with the Pope accompanied by other clergy and faithful, ascending a steep mountain, symbolizing the challenges faced by the Church. Along the way, they encounter a city in ruins, a stark reminder of the world's brokenness. At the summit, the Pope kneels before a large cross, only to be struck down by soldiers, mirroring the martyrdom of Christians throughout history. The scene is haunting, yet amidst the tragedy, there's a glimmer of hope. The angels collecting the blood of the martyrs, a symbol of redemption and salvation. The third secret of Fatima remains a subject of debate and interpretation, but its message is clear, a call to repentance, prayer, and unwavering faith in the face of adversity. So what do you make of the third secret? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Vatican discloses third secret of Fatima. To truly grasp the significance of the third secret, we must first understand its origins. The events of Fatima, which unfolded in the small Portuguese town in 1917, marked a turning point in the spiritual landscape of the 20th century. It was here that three shepherd children, Lucia dos Santos and her cousins Francisco and Jacinta Marto, reported apparitions of the Virgin Mary. Throughout these apparitions, Mary conveyed a series of messages to the children, imploring them to pray the rosary daily, offer sacrifices for the conversion of sinners, and consecrate themselves to her immaculate heart. But it was during the final apparition on October 13, 1917, that Mary revealed what would become known as the third secret. Fast forward to the 1980s, a tumultuous time marked by political upheaval and social unrest. The world looked to Pope John Paul II, a towering figure whose papacy was deeply intertwined with the events of Fatima. It was during his pontificate that the third secret would come to the forefront of global consciousness. In 1982, on the first anniversary of the assassination attempt against him, Pope John Paul II made a pilgrimage to the shrine of Fatima to offer thanks for his survival, a survival he attributed to the intercession of the Virgin Mary. This pilgrimage, laden with symbolism and spiritual significance, underscored the Pope's profound connection to Fatima and its messages. But the story doesn't end there. In 1991, on the 10th anniversary of the assassination attempt, Pope John Paul II returned to Fatima once again, this time to give thanks not only for his life, but also for the collapse of communism, a collapse many believed had been foretold by the Virgin of Fatima. Now, let's turn our attention to the third secret itself. For decades, it remained shrouded in secrecy, sparking speculation and conspiracy theories. Some went to extreme lengths, even resorting to hunger strikes and acts of terrorism to pressure the Vatican into disclosing it. In 2000, the Vatican finally revealed what it claimed was the entire third secret. But the reaction was mixed. Many felt that the revelation fell short of the urgent warnings issued by the Virgin over the years. Instead, the Vatican's report seemed to suggest that everything foretold in the secret had already come to pass. This discrepancy left many feeling unsettled. The world, they observed, was still plagued by corruption, moral decay, and societal upheaval, echoing the dire predictions of Fatima. The breakdown of traditional values, the erosion of family structures, and the normalization of sinful behavior all seemed to align with the Virgin's warnings. So why the secrecy? Why the reluctance to fully disclose the third secret? Some speculate that its contents, perhaps catastrophic warnings of impending doom, were deemed too alarming for public consumption. Others believe that revealing it would have exposed the Church to sensationalism and exploitation. But amidst the uncertainty and speculation, one thing remains clear. The messages of Fatima continue to resonate, urging humanity to repent and turn away from sin. As we navigate the complexities of our world today, perhaps it's time to heed the warnings of Fatima and seek redemption before it's too late. As we delve deeper into the complexities of the third secret of Fatima, it's essential to recognize the profound impact it has had on the collective consciousness of believers worldwide. The revelations of Fatima, encompassing not only the third secret but also the broader messages conveyed through the apparitions, serve as a stark reminder of humanity's spiritual journey and the challenges we face in navigating the tumultuous waters of our existence. The significance of Fatima cannot be overstated. It serves as a beacon of hope in a world plagued by uncertainty and strife, offering solace and guidance to those who seek it. The messages of repentance, prayer, and devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary resonate deeply with believers, inspiring them to embrace a life of faith and virtue. But amidst the fervor and devotion surrounding Fatima, questions linger. What exactly does the third secret entail? Why did the Vatican choose to withhold it for so long? And perhaps most importantly, what relevance does it hold for us today? Some speculate that the third secret contains dire warnings of impending catastrophe, a prophecy of sorts that speaks to the moral decay and spiritual turmoil that grip our world. Others interpret it as a call to repentance and renewal, a reminder that our salvation lies in embracing the teachings of Christ and living lives of holiness and virtue. Regardless of its precise contents, one thing remains clear. The messages of Fatima continue to resonate with believers of all backgrounds, inspiring them to seek truth, embrace faith, and strive for a deeper relationship with the divine. As we reflect on the mysteries of Fatima and the profound impact they have had on the world, let us heed the call to prayer, repentance, and devotion. May we draw inspiration from the courage and faith of the shepherd children who witnessed the apparitions, and may we, like them, be steadfast in our commitment to truth and righteousness. The alleged missing part of the third secret of Fatima. The veil of secrecy surrounding the third secret of Fatima has led to widespread speculation and intrigue since the early 1960s. It's been rumored that portions of the text have circulated within various sectors of the Church, leading to whispers of its contents reaching even the highest echelons of power. Reports surfaced suggesting that Pope John the 23rd allowed leaders of Russia and the United States to glimpse the document during the tense days of the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. Additionally, there are claims that a priest involved in the beatification process of the younger visionaries of Fatima divulged details of the secret. German and French newspapers even published supposed excerpts from the third secret in the early 1960s. Though the authenticity of these circulated texts cannot be definitively verified, many find them compelling due to their alignment with church teachings and their apparent relevance to contemporary world events. Notably, these purported excerpts predate other significant revelations, such as the Akita Revelations of 1973 and Pope John Paul II's statements in Fulda in 1980. One striking aspect of these circulated texts is their mention of a great war and chastisement looming in the latter half of the 20th century, a time period that has since passed. However, rather than dismissing these warnings as outdated, some interpret them as a call to action, urging believers to heed the message and work towards repentance and redemption. Another intriguing aspect is the reference to internal strife within the church, with cardinals and bishops at odds and Satan lurking in their midst. This prophetic insight may shed light on why the Vatican hesitated to reveal the third secret in 2000, as the divisions within the Church were not as apparent at the time. Furthermore, the warning of great changes in Rome and worldwide confusion aligns with the tumultuous events and moral decay witnessed in recent decades. While the exact nature of the punishment foretold by Our Lady remains uncertain, it serves as a sobering reminder of the consequences of sin and the need for repentance. Some speculate that the punishment could manifest as a global catastrophe akin to the biblical punishments of the flood or the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. However, the specifics remain unknown, leaving believers to contemplate the significance of these warnings and their implications for the future. In light of these revelations, there is a call for spiritual renewal and a plea for church leaders to heed the warnings of Fatima and embark on a journey of repentance and reconciliation. As the world grapples with increasing turmoil and moral decay, there is a sense of urgency to embrace the message of Fatima and strive for spiritual awakening. Ultimately, the mysteries of Fatima serve as a reminder of the eternal struggle between good and evil and the enduring power of faith in the face of adversity. As we navigate the complexities of our world today, may we find solace and guidance in the timeless messages of Fatima, trusting in the providence of God and the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Loss of faith. Father Alonso, the archivist, who had privileged access to the document and had personal interactions with Sister Lucia herself, left us with profound insights into the contents of the third secret of Fatima before his passing. According to Father Alonso, the events preceding the triumph of the Immaculate Heart of Mary would be marked by terrible occurrences, but not of the nature typically associated with wars or political upheavals. Instead, these events would unfold within the Catholic Church itself. Father Alonso emphasized that while Portugal would maintain the dogma of the faith, other parts of the Church would face obscurity or even loss of these essential doctrines. This suggests a crisis of faith, a neglect of pastoral duties, and a general weakening of the Church's spiritual foundation. His conclusions have been echoed by knowledgeable Church authorities who affirm that the third secret concerns an unprecedented loss of faith and apostasy, with Portugal being preserved amidst this spiritual turmoil. In 1984, the Bishop of Fatima emphasized the gravity of this loss of faith, stating that the faithlessness of a continent is more devastating than the destruction of a nation. Indeed, Europe has witnessed a continuous decline in faith since then. Cardinal Ratzinger, in a 1984 interview, affirmed Father Alonso's conclusions, stating that the final part of the secret warns of dangers to the faith and lives of Christians, and by extension, to the world. The fulfillment of the prophecy of the third secret began to unfold from 1960 onwards, as indicated by Sister Lucia herself, when asked why the secret was to be revealed no later than that year. Since then, the world has witnessed a progressive decline in faith, signaling the realization of the warnings contained within the secret. In conclusion, Father Alonso's insights shed light on the profound spiritual challenges facing the Church in the modern era. As we navigate these turbulent times, may we heed the warnings of Fatima and strive to preserve and strengthen our faith amidst adversity. The Secret of Fatima, Fact and Legend. Father Alonso's insights into the third secret of Fatima go beyond mere speculation. They stem from a deep understanding of the events surrounding Fatima and his interactions with Sister Lucia herself. He proposed that the third secret addresses not only a crisis of faith within the Church, but also the negligence of pastors, particularly within the upper hierarchy. Father Alonso's assertions are rooted in his extensive knowledge of Fatima and his close relationship with Sister Lucia. He believed that the unpublished text of the third secret likely contains concrete references to the internal struggles of Catholics, the failings of priests and religious, and the deficiencies of the church's upper hierarchy. In 1943, Sister Lucia fell seriously ill, prompting concerns that she might pass away without revealing the final secret. Bishop D. Silva eventually ordered her to write down the third secret. But Sister Lucia struggled to obey due to immense anguish. It wasn't until January 1944, after receiving strength from Our Lady, that she was able to fulfill the bishop's command. Throughout the messages of Fatima, there is a recurring theme of repentance and conversion, emphasizing the need for humanity to turn away from sin. Pope John Paul II and Pope Benedict XVI both had profound devotion to Our Lady of Fatima, attributing significant importance to her call for repentance and conversion. In 2010, Pope Benedict XVI highlighted the sacrificial aspect of Our Lady's message, urging believers to offer themselves to God in reparation for sins and supplication for the conversion of sinners. Pope Francis in 2017 emphasized the role of Our Lady of Fatima as a beacon of God's light and protection. Despite the insights provided by Father Alonso and the devotion of successive popes to Our Lady of Fatima, the third secret remains shrouded in mystery. Its full contents and implications continue to elude us, serving as a reminder of the enduring enigma surrounding Fatima and the profound spiritual challenges facing humanity. Indeed, the enigmatic nature of the third secret of Fatima persists, leaving believers and scholars alike pondering its full significance. Despite the efforts of Father Alonso and others to shed light on its contents, the mystery endures, hinting at deeper spiritual truths yet to be fully revealed. The messages of Fatima, including the third secret, hold a timeless relevance, urging humanity towards repentance, conversion, and a deeper relationship with God. Pope John Paul II, Pope Benedict XVI, and Pope Francis all emphasize the importance of Our Lady of Fatima's call to repentance, recognizing it as a vital message for the modern world. As we reflect on the profound insights offered by Father Alonso and the enduring legacy of Fatima, we are reminded of the ongoing spiritual battle faced by humanity. The call to conversion and repentance echoes through the ages, inviting us to embrace God's mercy and grace. In the midst of uncertainty and turmoil, the message of Fatima offers hope and consolation, reminding us of the maternal love and protection of the Blessed Virgin Mary. As we continue our spiritual journey, may we take refuge under her mantle of light and seek her intercession in our lives. Ultimately, the third secret of Fatima remains a mystery, inviting us to contemplate the deeper mysteries of faith and the enduring power of God's love. As we strive to live out the messages of Fatima in our daily lives, may we draw closer to God and His eternal truth, trusting in His providence and guidance.